Welcome to the Bark Night Podcast, where we shine a spotlight on the world of film and TV through news, reviews, and in-depth discussions. On today's episode, we're doing our predictions for the 2026 Oscars award ceremony. So be sure to follow, like, or leave a rating wherever you're listening. Really helps to keep the reels turning. So we're not going to do predictions for every category. So right off the bat here, I'm just going to list the ones that we're not going to cover. And this is basically due to either a lack of knowledge, a lack of opinions, or us not having a very good breadth of viewing, meaning in some of these we've not seen many or any of them. So we're not going to cover best sound, best documentary short subject, best animated short film, best documentary feature, or best live action short films. And I think a big part of this is that we didn't see many shorts or many documentaries. So sticking with the movies.
Our local theater did have a whole night devoted towards this, and I almost went, but...
Was it The Little?
Yeah.
Man, I miss having The Little close by. I still support them however I can. I'm always sharing their posts and liking and commenting and reposting all their stuff. So it's a solid theater.
Yeah, they do a great job. And I'm so glad that they're around during Oscar season because they bring speakers in to talk about the films. And the Eastman House is right down the road. So they usually bring some pretty intelligent people in to really talk film. So wherever you can, the Little Theater is great to go to. And the Eastman House is really great, too, to go to as well. Eastman Theater, when they actually put on, like, shows and stuff like that, too. So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a lot in the way of, cool little indie-style theaters like that around here. I have a theater where I can eat entire pizzas while I'm there. It's called Cinema Cafe. There's, 5 of them here.
That's great. I would eat a pizza.
And it's some of the best pizza in town too, surprisingly. It's hard to find good pizza down here, man.
Oh,
they know what they're doing.
Anyway, enough about the food.
Yeah. So let's get into the categories we're going to cover. So we're basically running these the same way the Oscars does, which basically means it starts a little bit obscure, and the more you get into it, the more you start hitting those big boys like the best supporting actor, best picture, all those things down. So the longer you watch the episode, the more interesting it's going to get. Let's kick it off with the achievement in casting. So more or less this just means the best casting director. I'm not going to read all the individual names here. I'll just read the movies in the interest of speed. So we got Sinners, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, and Hamnet. So first off, have you seen all of these movies, Paul?
Yes. All 5 of them I've seen.
Cool. Me too. I usually can't say this, and that's why I was like, gotta do an episode on this, because I usually have not seen all or that many. And I think a big benefit of that is there weren't as many 3-4 hour movies in this thing.
Yeah.
Like, I still haven't watched The Brutalist.
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah. Good.
that set me back last year. Like, I was like, oh, man, just watching that one.
Some of these movies felt 3 hours, though. Like, emotionally, I walked out of some of them just feeling like, what did I do to myself?
Yeah.
It was really tough. But yeah, no, I'm glad. There's no Irishman, which felt like 4.5 hours, or...
Killers of the Flower Moon.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Yeah. No Martin Scorsese, I think, is the point there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can get away with it. They're great movies. They're just dedicated moments.
Yeah. There's something to be said in a movie being, really tight, though,
Yeah, I agree. A good 90-minute movie. That's why I love an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Just 90 minutes, straight to the point. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. None of these movies are that. So... No. Despite all of what we said, but let's talk about these. So, for my money, I don't think it's going to be The Secret Agent or Hamnet. From a casting perspective, The Secret Agent, maybe it has a big cast for Brazilian actors, but Hamnet has a good cast, but I wouldn't. I think so I guess how this is a new award, right?
Yes. Yeah, this is the first year for this award.
Yeah, so
And it's
I wonder what they're going for with this. Is it just like, oh, you really casted this very well. This is the perfect person. So is it focused on like this is the perfect person for this role? Is it like ensemble type thing? Like, oh, you casted really well in multiple roles, or is it kind of a mix of both?
Yeah, it feels to me like when you're talking about casting, you're talking about both of them, but more so like on an ensemble level. And if that's the case, just by virtue of what they are, like the Secret Agent has a bigger cast, but it's not like a one battle after another or Sinners where it features multiple main cast members like that you have to really think about how to cast them. Hamnet is a 5-person play, basically. There's 3 little kids and 2 adults, and that's it. It feels like to me.
And the mother, Emily
the mother
Mortimer,
too, who's great. She's
fantastic
excellent in it, but it does feel like a really tight cast.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it feels like this is a battle between One Battle After Another and Sinners, right? It's just 2 massive ensembles, really like tight casting on both levels. It's a toss-up for me between those 2.
Yeah, and I think those 2 specifically, I think, are going to be the ones battling against each other this night. Marty Supreme does have a good cast. I did watch that the other night. You got Timothée Chalamet, you got Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, that's really it, right?
Exactly. I mean,
now that I'm like thinking of it.
that's the point with me there too. It just feels like, and beyond that, just the way in which Timothée Chalamet has kind of promoted this film, there really wasn't other ensemble cast members to go out there and promote it. Like you had Sean Penn promoting One Battle After Another, and Leo, and Paul Thomas Anderson, and a lot of other people were also in that cast. Marty Supreme just really felt like, hey, here's Timothée Chalamet going out there and doing it. Meanwhile, Sinners felt like all hands on deck, really promoting the heck out of that. And it's also surprising since it's, it came out right around, I feel like this time last year. So it's been around in the public discourse for a while, and I think it was really well casted to begin with. So
my money's on Sinners.
I agree.
I'll put it out there right now.
Sinners. Yeah.
Every one of those cast members, just like you said, it's got a big cast, and they're all casted extremely well. I mean, you look at Delroy Lindo, that is fantastic casting. Wunmi Masaku, she's absolutely wonderful in this. The casting of Sammy.
Yeah.
First time acting, brilliant choice.
Yeah.
And then you got, all your main runners there. And Jack O'Connell, I mean, he's absolutely perfect in this role.
I agree. On the opposite end, One Battle After the Other, Leo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Tiana Taylor, Chase Infinity, who is relatively new, but also just unbelievable in this. Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, one of the Haim sisters is in this as well. I mean, it's a really, really great casting as well. But toe-to-toe, I do think that there is something to be said about how tightly cast and how great synergy between those cast members Sinners had. It really was on the back of a phenomenal performance, great casting, really awesome directing. I'd say the same thing with One Battle After Another, but it just felt like Sinners has a little bit of an edge because of how well and how tight they all worked together. It's just phenomenal. It really did feel like a group casting effort. It's wonderful.
Yeah. It's not every day you get a cast that is that big and that brilliant,
Yes.
And I think that's where it gets the head, because with One Battle After Another, you've got like really it's the 4, right?
Yeah.
And Sinners has just as brilliant of casting, but it's their number's probably like 8 because it's such a big cast. But all of them are doing so well. So yeah, I think Sinners gets it.
And Sinners, the way in which it is set up too, it's really takes place in one specific area. All cast members are constantly on screen, interacting with one another.
Yeah.
One battle after another, spread out over a very long period and a lot of different areas, right? And so I just think it works really well in Sinners in its favor. The way in which it was shot, the way in which it was set up, the whole script, I think it works well for them.
Yeah.
This will be fun as the first award given.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump over to Best Production Design. So here we've got Marty Supreme, we got Sinners, we got Hamnet, we got One Battle After Another, and newcomer Frankenstein. Frankenstein doesn't have a ton of awards going for it, but the ones that it does have, it's really strong in. And I think this is one of those categories where if Frankenstein's going to win anything, I think this is one where it has a good chance.
I think so too. I didn't love Frankenstein. I didn't think it was I know Del Toro, this is a huge passion project for him. I know that it's something that he's really loved. You can see the heart and love put into this. I did not love it. I do think he builds a really fantastic world. Flip side, I actually think this is Sinners for me, right? Like, this is a world and a production, it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
I think Frankenstein kind of fits the traditional mold of like, oh, look at how beautiful the scenery is. Look at how great all of this is. But Sinners really feels like a folk tale. And in that way, it's doing something pretty unique, and I think it should be celebrated in that way.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Sinners win this. I do think it's probably going to be Frankenstein.
I think Sinners does have a chance here because of how well those sets are detailed and realistic.
Yeah.
It really is fantastic. You've got the juke joint, and then you have the whole town where all of those scenes are taking place earlier in the train station.
Yeah.
It really nails a lot of those scenes from that perspective. So I agree with you that it definitely has a good chance.
Yeah.
I tend to think it's going to be, I would love if it was Sinners, but I tend to think it's going to be Frankenstein.
Me too. And I also think this is one area where I think the Academy is going to throw Frankenstein a bone, right? It's just going to say, like, you get this. This is what you get.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many other
They
places.
have a habit of doing that.
Yes, exactly. And this is it.
What do you think of Hamnet for this one?
I mean, I feel like Hamnet is, other than how it was shot, it feels like a movie that kind of is timeless. In that way, I think it's really beautiful. I don't really think it gets it. It gets it in this one. Just because, like I said, it feels like a play. It does feel to me like it's shot very, very closely. The only thing that I will say is the Globe Theater at the end, when that was shown, my breath was taken away. That was a great reproduction of it. I think, what is her name? What's the director's name? Chloe Zhao, I think?
Yeah.
I think the way in which she shot that was just, that was like an introduction of a main character to me. Like, wow. She got it, like she built it. So in that way, I think it has a shot. But I think if we're talking about any other film in this category, One Battle After Another would probably be the other one that you would think of here too. The way in which I specifically think of like Sensei's house and where he's keeping everybody and the kind of Underground Railroad scene. When I think of that movie, that's what I think of. And that design is just incredible to me. The kind of maze-like, beautiful features. It feels incredible. So
yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about it. Frankenstein's probably going to be the winner. Sinners has a really, really good chance. Hamnet and One Battle After Another are underdogs. I think One Battle After Another might have a little bit more of a chance than people think, but I think it's still quite the underdog here. Marty Supreme, I don't think it has a chance.
No, me neither. I just don't think so. Spoiler alert, I did not like Marty Supreme. So,
no, you didn't?
We'll come to that. Yeah, we'll come to that later. I did not think it was... I think I went into it with pretty high expectations, and I came out thinking, so what? So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will get to that. I'm looking forward to that conversation. I did like it.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. But it was exactly, in fact, what I thought it would be.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I'm very good at. I've gotten to a place because maybe it's just because I watch so many movies. I've been very good with my expectations lately. Where I'm like, I haven't had one where like Suicide Squad, where the trailer just completely blew me away, and I thought I was going to be so into it, and then I absolutely hated it. I haven't had one like that in a while, and maybe that's why. Maybe it's because that few years there of movies like Suicide Squad and and those where like I was just getting so disappointed. Where like
Yeah.
I don't know if like I just don't get like pumped for movies anymore. I wasn't even that pumped for Sinners when I went into it, and I think that's why I was so blown away by it. I was like partway into it, I'm just like, holy hell, man! Like I'm experiencing something right now. Like I'm blown away. And then I went and saw it again, and it was the same thing, but that time it was in IMAX. So that I was blown away a second time in a different way.
I feel like the people who saw Sinners for the first time on a television screen are at a severe disadvantage because I think that movie was an experience on the big screen. Same thing with One Battle After Another. I would even say the same thing with Hamnet. Like all three of those movies, seeing them on the big screen is just it feels like a moment.
Yeah.
But Sinners in particular I did not have any expectations going into Sinners and walked out of it feeling like that was an incredible experience.
Yeah, I told everybody to go see it.
Yeah.
Everybody I could see. I did 3 episodes on it. I did a bunch of shorts. I was telling everybody that would listen. I was posting about it on Threads and whatnot nonstop. Yeah. Like I was like, please, please, please go see this at the theater because it is how you want to see it. And like I know we skipped over the Best Sound Design Award, but I will say that if I was going to make a prediction on it, it would be Sinners would be my choice for that, because one of the things I noticed when I saw it in IMAX was how intricate the sound was. Like all the little sound effects and everything, and like when Wunmi Masaku is doing the spell at her little shack there, and there's all these little sounds that I heard the second time around that I did not hear the first time. And people at home are not hearing those sounds right now, I don't think. And that was the thing that really blew me away the second time around, was all the sound design in that one. And not a single one of these other movies blew me away like that when it came to sound. So that would be mine for that. But like that is that power of the theater, you know?
Yeah. I fully agree. It's a shame because I know many people who watch Sinners for the first time on their phones, and I just felt like, oh, please don't do that. Like, just go put it on.
And they're like, as people are texting them, like, and notifications are coming up at the top, and it's like, it's if you are one of those people who's right now complaining on Reddit about Sinners and how overrated it was, and the first time you watched it at home, that is why. But also, there's so many layers to Sinners that I just don't think everybody's realizing. It is an extremely well-layered movie.
Yes.
But we will get into that more. But yeah, best production design. Frankenstein, probably. Sinners maybe. Marty Supreme, definitely not. Other two underdogs.
Yes, I would agree.
All right. Rolling over to best film editing. So we've got Marty Supreme, we've got Sinners, we've got Sentimental Value, we've got F1, and we've got One Battle After Another. I will say, having just watched The Secret Agent last night, I did like the editing a lot in that, so I'm surprised that didn't get on here.
Me too. I am surprised that that's not there. The other one that I'm kind of surprised is on here is F1. I thought it was a fine movie, but you look at my opinion, I think it's probably between One Battle After Another and Sinners. I do not think that F1 is a really tight film in the way that it's edited. And in my opinion, this is One Battle After Another wins this category. The way in which that film is shot and edited feels very, very intentional. Not to say that Sinners does not, but I feel like in One Battle After Another, the way in which every single shot feels like it matters. Immediately, the first thing that it comes to is the scene of Leonardo DiCaprio in his house watching the war film, and then immediately having to go into that tunnel underneath his house. The way in which it's edited at that point is just like, it's a master work in editing. Yeah. I don't think Sinners is as tight as that is. I do think One Battle After Another wins this. Sentimental Value, by the way, is also a really well-edited film, and I do think there are shots in that I am just astonished that they got away with. Not in a bad way, but particularly some of those shots where, it's a edit between Stellan Skarsgård laying on the ground and then all of a sudden you're in the hospital room and you're like, wow, like that's a really great edit. But I think there are multiple moments like that in One Battle After Another.
Yeah. I think it's Sinners or One Battle After Another for this. 100% my reasoning for that. And I think this is the way that the Academy is going to be thinking about it too, is that they were both shot on film. And it makes it extremely difficult. Editing on film is massively more difficult. It's a huge undertaking compared to the others. So I don't think any of them stand a chance, simply because these were shot on film. And that's huge that they were shot on film too. So I think that's a big part of it. I think that Sinners does have the benefit of Ryan Coogler being out there. You remember that video I sent you last year, like last August or whenever that came out, where Ryan Coogler is like, he's outlining all the different types of film that they used, and that you could, like, here, this is what we shot, this is how we shot it, and these are the different ways you can see it in the theaters. And he outlined like the best way to see it, the most common way you can see it if you want to see it on film, and he outlined all of that. And I think that campaign, I don't think it was in the name of doing anything for the Oscars. I think it was in the name of building excitement for the movie itself. But I do think that probably is sticking out in people's heads right now.
I would agree. I think that's a great point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I think that's very true. I always, whenever there's a Paul Thomas Anderson film, though, you can tell, like, there's just a way in which it's edited, too. It's just brilliant. And I don't know. I'm biased in this way. I think I always look at a PTA film and think, God, I wish I could do anything like that a little bit. The editing in that film is just phenomenal.
I think there's a good chance it wins this one, but I think it's very close between this and Sinners. I would venture to say it's going to be, like, if we're doing percentage point wise, they're within 1 or 2% of each other of votes, and I think the others are in the single digits. Like 1 to 4% each.
Yeah. I would agree.
If that, like, I think you're right that, like, a lot of people are probably not looking terribly high on F1 when it comes to a lot of these things. A lot of people are surprised to even see it here.
Me too. Yeah. We'll talk snubs at the end, but I would say the biggest snub for me of this whole Oscars is how little Weapons is represented. I think Weapons was probably top 3 film for me last year. I do not understand why it's not in more areas, and specifically film editing. Like, Weapons was edited really, really phenomenally well for a horror movie, and for, like, just a film in general. I think it was incredible. I still don't understand how it's not nominated for Best Picture over F1. It should have been, but I'll get on my soapbox later in the episode about that.
I've got to rewatch Weapons. I've been planning on giving that a rewatch one of these days. I wasn't pumped about it, to be honest with you. That movie wasn't huge for me. I
walked away from it thinking, like, there's no way that this doesn't get nominated for an Academy Award. It was so good.
Really?
And it just felt to me like, in many ways, like, it was an evolution of Barbarians in a way in which I didn't love Barbarians. I'm not huge.
That's interesting because I loved Barbarian, I didn't love this. I'm a much bigger fan of Barbarian than this, and it's so interesting to see people like talk about that too. Because my problem with this was the shifting tones, and I said that online, and somebody's like, "Yeah, if you researched your directors, you'd see he made Barbarian." I'm like, how about you get out of here? Because I've seen Barbarian. I knew it was him because I know things, and I am aware of facts, like when I go to see these movies, and I liked the tone in that much better. It did have shifting tone, but I didn't love it in this. And you know what I think it might be? My theater experience. because there was people laughing loudly at certain parts, and I was like, I don't think this is supposed to be funny. But then like I'm like, is it supposed to be funny? And when you find yourself sitting there like asking if a scene is supposed to be funny, maybe like it's not, it's not the best experience,
I agree. I don't know if it is the best film of last year, but my experience with that film was like, there are so many things it does really, really well. It's terrifying. It's also absurd. Throughout most of it, it's just an absurd kind of story. And the end of it, where all of the children are running after Amy Madigan's character, like, it's hilarious and terrifying and also just like cathartic as well. Like, and then the end of it, which is just like most of these kids ended up comatose. Some of them came out of it, but most of them just kind of lived the rest of their lives like that. That's also like terrifying and dark, but kind of funny too. Like, it's just a weird sort of movie. And nothing else in my experience last year did that for me. Like, and nothing made me feel like, what did I just watch? Am I supposed to feel like delighted or just terrified by it? It was great, I think. And it's a shame that it's not elevated in the same sort of conversation as the rest of these movies, because I think it was deserving of it.
Yeah. Like I said, I need to rewatch it. Another thing that I didn't like about it is I'm not a big fan of when movies do the thing where you watch it for 10 minutes and then it's like, and now we're going to this character, and their name comes up on the screen. I heard a lot of people really hyping that up as like this whole new thing. I'm like, this isn't a new thing. I've seen it so many times and I absolutely don't like it, especially when you start to rewatch portions of the last scene you were in. I hate rewatching. Like, that is the one thing I don't like about the movie Memento, and I love Memento, but you rewatch a whole bunch of it. And like, I remember on the DVD they had a thing where you could watch it in like regular order, and I did, and it's painful. For one, it's like a completely different movie, so it's really intriguing from that aspect. But from a different aspect, like, you see all those black and white scenes in a row, and they repeat themselves a lot. And so when you see that all like back to back to back like that, you're like, oh, this is split up for a reason. Like, but like, I don't like that thing where you're like, okay, now you're gonna see that same scene from this character's point of view. Like, you ever see the movie Vantage Point?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like, it was like a storytelling mechanism that was used a ton in the 2000s, and now every time I see it, I'm just like, kind of like, it takes me out of it a little bit of like, oh, not this again.
I think it was a more fresh take on it, but also I think it wouldn't have worked so well if they didn't put the kind of cast that they had behind it. Josh Brolin,
it's a great cast, actually.
Is so great. Like, it's a phenomenal. I think it's one of the better casts of the year. It should have been nominated for this.
Looking in, like, considering that, I think like, you got to give credit where credit's due, and I do think that the directing in Weapons is really great, and it is solid writing. But I do think that I would put it up for casting over Marty Supreme and The Secret Agent.
Me too. And I did not love Marty Supreme as much, but I feel like Marty Supreme is up there because of Timothée Chalamet more than anything. And I don't know. It just feels like Weapons was deserving of it. I know it came out during the tail end of the summer, and that's like a
lifetime ago.
Yeah, it's also just like a death sentence for Academy Award nominees, but it was deserving of it, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's enough about Weapons. Where were we?
Costume design.
Okay. Best costume design: Marty Supreme, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Sinners, Avatar: Fire and Ash. I didn't see Avatar: Fire and Ash. Did you?
Yes. I love James Cameron. I think it's a real shame to me that he's stuck in Avatar, because he's just a really great director. Fire and Ash is great. I mean, it's a good film. I don't know how you would nominate costume design for Fire and Ash when it's all kind of CGI-ish, but yeah, it was fine.
That's a good question. I mean, did they have, like, I'm looking to see if there's like behind the scenes photos or something to see how much they are like dressed up, because it's all motion capture. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm sure somebody will make a joke about that at the ceremony, though. So, all right, costume design. Sinners is fantastic. The costume design is absolutely great through and through and through every single character. So I think this is one that has a strong chance. Frankenstein, man, if you're going to throw a bone over Frankenstein's way, if it's not production design, I think it's costume design.
Yeah, I also think that this is the point of the night where I think you start seeing Hamnet kind of pushed up too. And costume design here seems pretty good for Hamnet.
Their outfits are like part of the story too.
Yes, yeah. And I love the way in which the costumes and the period piece was built in Hamnet. I think it fits really well. Frankenstein was great too. Usually it's period pieces that win this category. I would imagine it's probably going to be between Hamnet and Frankenstein. Sinners did really, really well in this. It did a really great job of just costumes in general, but there's not a lot of variance as there are in Frankenstein and Hamnet. I think it's probably one of the two of those.
I wanted to look this up to see who's won this in the past. And considering who's won this in the past, Wicked won last year.
That makes sense, though. Wicked. That
over
was
Nosferatu?
Great. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So it was Wicked, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, and Nosferatu. Nosferatu's the clear winner in my book on that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a toss-up between those two. Wicked.
Yeah,
that's great.
I didn't see Wicked. You're a big fan of that decision, though?
I don't know. I know people did not love the Wicked films. I think both of them are great.
I think people like the first one a lot more than the second one.
Yeah, the second one isn't as good. But they're great to see in the theater. I think one of the things the Oscars do, for me anyway, is really appreciate going to the movies and seeing these movies on the big screen. And I would be kind of remiss if I didn't say how great Wicked was on the big screen. Like, it's just a spectacle to watch. It's part of the reason why I love going to see all of the Marvel movies, why I'm really itching to go see Project Hail Mary in a few weeks. Like,
oh yeah, people are raving about that.
Yeah, I mean, they're just big, spectacle, beautiful movies, and so it kind of makes sense that Wicked would get costume design here, because it did have some beautiful costumes.
Well, and that's the thing to consider in these, is that Wicked's probably not going to win many awards. And so if it is nominated for a few things, what do you throw its way? And that's why I think it's going to be Frankenstein. I think Frankenstein is like the Wicked of this year. And
that makes sense to me.
Looking back at it, we got Wicked, Poor Things. Year before that, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Then Cruella. Then Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Ruth E. Carter, who won for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, she did Sinners. Yeah. So they might also look at that and say, all right, well, she's won one already.
Let's give it to Hamnet.
Maybe. I mean, it's completely possible. Yeah. My money's on Frankenstein.
I think probably, yeah.
Like, even looking at Mia Goth, looking at all her outfits through the whole thing when she was playing the mother and then playing the wife. The fact that she played both those characters and was able to hide it so well in the funeral, like all those scenes are very... I think that's the primary strength of this movie, is how it looks. And so it's the sets, it's the costumes, and I think those are the two where it's got a good chance of winning things.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the downfall for Frankenstein with me is how overacted it is. And so when I watched that movie, I got really taken out of it by how over the top I felt a lot of things were. And in the same breath, it also extended to the world itself. It felt like an extension of, what is the other Del Toro film? Crimson.
Yes, I was thinking that same thing.
Yes. What's the name of that movie? Crimson what?
Crimson Peak.
Crimson Peak. It felt like Crimson Peak.
It does. And Crimson Peak is one. It's got a beautiful score. It looks beautiful, but I'm just not that into it. Yeah. And like I see exactly what you're saying, and like I wasn't in love with like the makeup design of Frankenstein either. I liked this movie. I liked Frankenstein. but I didn't love it. And I
Yeah.
don't think it needed to be as long as it was. And I think the only reason it's that long is you only get one, trip to the well for this story. So you might as well
Yes.
tell the whole thing as much as you can. So I get it on that aspect. But on the other hand, I'm like, well, I could cut out a portion of this movie. And it does that thing, too, where partway into it, you're like, oh, now you're going to see it from Frankenstein's point of view. And I'm like, I'm like, oh, my God. We have so much movie left right now.
2 hours
And we're
left
just
of the
starting
movie.
his part of the
Yes.
story.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God. But I said that to myself, too. I was like, they're doing that thing that I just complained about. Like, that was only a month ago. I'm not over it yet.
I had a problem. I don't know. We can talk about it more when we talk about Best Picture, but the way in which Jacob Elordi, his character, he does a great job as Frankenstein, but the makeup is all weird. He just is this tall, beautiful person, and they try to make him look awkward and weird, but he still is beautiful. Like, Jacob Elordi is a beautiful guy, and so it's really tough to like make him feel like a monster. And at times I get it and I agree with it and I feel like he's a monster, and other times he just feels like how I felt about Robert Pattinson's Batman. Like, he was just emo, and I could not connect.
You didn't like Robert Pattinson's Batman?
I do. No, I'm negative on that.
I will tell you, man, I actually love Robert Pattinson's Batman. Like, I'm a massive fan of that movie. I have the little race car of it. I got like a comic book thing that I got that's like a book box thing of all the comics that inspired it. So like the Court of Owls and Long Halloween. I'm a huge fan of that movie. I have the 4K steelbook of it. I have the soundtrack on vinyl.
My Batman needs to be campy, so I really love the Tim Burton ones, and I just
I love those
like
too.
That's my Batman. And so there's the scene where he's up on top of the dome and he's just listening to Nirvana, and I'm like, are we really doing this now, guys? Is this happening? I remember being in the theater and thinking like, this is not my Batman. Like, every generation has their Batman. This is not made for me.
So I'm a big fan of nearly every Batman. So I love the Tim Burton Batman movies. I love the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. I love this. I will say, I didn't really come around on Ben Affleck's Batman. I thought he was pretty decent, and he had some cool fight scenes in Batman vs. Superman. But after that, I was like, overall, didn't do much for me. The Flash is god-awful, just a complete piece of garbage. And so a lot of people are like, oh, Ben Affleck's the best Batman. I'm like, no, he's not.
No. People love Batfleck, and I don't see it.
You can't be the best Batman if you don't have your own Batman movie.
100% there.
That's a rule. You don't qualify.
I don't think I am appropriate person to judge Batman, though, because I don't think that I have gotten away from thinking that Michael Keaton is the best Batman. He plays the best Bruce Wayne and the best Batman. I think he's still phenomenal. And even in that Flash movie, I was like, yeah, that's Batman. That's my Batman doing it. Now, they bastardized him in that movie, but he was still great anyway. But yeah, that's how I feel about Frankenstein, is I feel like there's just...
We got so far off track there.
We did. But it just feels like this emo boy walking around in like a costume. And at times, I think it works. Oscar Isaac is just acting the hell out of it in a way in which I don't... He's just overacting all the time.
And that is the thing. Like, I think you pointed out this about something else not too long ago, that it's very like Shakespearean.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah,
it comes off like that.
What he's doing is like he's in front of a crowd that he needs to energize as he's talking, and I don't necessarily know if it works for me. Either end. I think Mia Goth is the only one that actually works for me in this movie.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, maybe we get a brand new version of this after Robert Eggers makes his werewolf movie. And maybe that's the one we love.
I don't know. Maybe The Bride is great. I haven't heard good things about it, but who knows? Maybe The Bride is pretty good.
I get the vibe that The Bride is one of those movies you either love it or you hate it. I don't think there's a middle ground on that one, because it's making creative choices that are bold. and you will either like them and accept those things or you will reject them.
It's another Jessie Buckley movie, too.
Yep. And she's completely different in it.
Than Hamnet? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and every one of her parts, that I think that's one of her strengths, is that she can play so many different types of roles in so many different ways with different voices, and just looks and sounds different, and she's very like moldable, you know?
I agree. We'll talk about it when we talk about Best Actress. I have a lot to say about her and about how great she is, and about how the choices of movies she makes are not always representative of how great of an actress she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're on Best Cinematography. So we got Marty Supreme, we got Sinners, we got One Battle After Another, we got Train Dreams coming out of nowhere here after not getting too many nods, and then we got Frankenstein. So I think Marty Supreme and Frankenstein are out of the running. I don't think there's a real chance either of those gets this. I think there's a very, very real chance that Sinners and One Battle After Another, it's once again a head-to-head fight between them. But I will say, I think Train Dreams is really phenomenal in this regard, and I think any other year it's very strong in this category and in the running for a winner. But I think this is another one where they're going to look and they're going to say, cinematography, you shot on film, and both of those were shot on film. Sinners is a little bit ahead for me because you got the IMAX cameras as part of that as well. You got the expanding ratio, all those things. But also, One Battle After Another is just a very uniquely stylized film, and a big part of that is in the way it's shot. And you look at all of those different scenes, I mean, the entire final act of the movie as they're trucking through the desert here, and the car scene and everything, all of that is so beautiful and so unique in the way it's visualized because of how it's shot. So I think that both of those have a very strong chance of winning. I think that Train Dreams is an underdog. I think any other year it would be very strong in this category. Marty Supreme, Frankenstein, not a chance.
I agree. I think Train Dreams is at a disadvantage for all of the Academy Awards because of how short it is. It is 100 minutes, I think. It's very, very quick. And crazily, it feels very, very quick. It feels lightning fast. And so I agree. I think like Train Dreams is probably a good film to be nominated in other years, but Sinners is much longer, almost 30 minutes longer. Marty Supreme is like 50 minutes longer, and let's not even talk about One Battle After Another is much, much longer. I don't necessarily think that length will play a role in this, but I'm pointing it out to say I think Train Dreams is at a disadvantage throughout the whole Academy Awards because it's not that long compared to these like very epic kind of movies in that way. I think that this is probably Sinners' game to lose.
Yeah. Looking back at the past winners, we got The Brutalist, we got Oppenheimer, All Quiet on the Western Front, Dune, and Mank. That's the last 5 years here. Then we got 1917, Roma, Blade Runner 2049, La La Land, The Revenant, Birdman. Birdman had the obvious strength there of being a one-shot. Gravity before that, which had, you know, the technical aspect of it. Life of Pi. So yeah, Inception won it the year before that in 2010. Did you remember Inception winning Best Cinematography?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I didn't remember that either. Yeah. Sinners or One Battle. And I think it's between those. I think Sinners, it comes out for me though, and I think a big part of it is those giant IMAX cameras, which that's what Christopher Nolan shoots with too. He gave some big help in the way of like giving advice to the team and everything on how to shoot with these.
Yeah, I would agree. I do think it's either Sinners. I do think it might be One Battle After Another. We have not been really high on Marty Supreme. This is also a place where I think it could make a running, but I do think it's probably Sinners or One Battle After Another.
All right, next up we got Best Visual Effects. And so I was looking back over this, and when it says visual effects, it makes it sound like it's specifically like CGI, but this is meant to include like practical effects. just people from the effects team. So it doesn't necessarily have to be digital or physical. It's just meant to be the effects team altogether.
Okay.
So our nominees for this are Jurassic World Rebirth, which, what are you doing here? F1, The Lost Bus, Sinners, and Avatar, Fire and Ash.
I mean, this is the best category in terms of diversity here. Who would have thought? The Lost Bus of all.
Have you seen The Lost Bus?
I have not. No, my father really liked it though.
I liked it. It is really good. It's one of those movies where you're like, you're kind of stressed out the entire time. It's about a school bus traveling through the mountains as a brush fire turns into this giant fire that spreads through the entire mountain. So you get scenes where the fire is completely engulfing entire towns and forests and everything, because this bus is traveling across this entire landscape. Like, whole towns are engulfed in fire. So it is really cool from that perspective. Yeah, I'm surprised it got nominated for an Oscar for it, but it's not to say it is well done in that regard.
It is a Paul Greengrass movie too. The guy who did all the Bourne movies and Captain Phillips, and yeah, so he knows what he's doing. But I did not see it. No,
I don't think it's gonna win. I wasn't even aware it got like a theatrical release.
Yeah. I mean, if this is the place where I think if you're talking about visual effects, I think it's Avatar, right? Like, this is the...
Probably. I didn't see it, but if it seems to be like they invented entire technologies for this. If Avatar is going to win anything, it's going to be this.
I would agree.
All right. Anything else to say on that one?
No, I mean, I feel like that one seems like a slam dunk for Avatar there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean... This is one of those categories where I'm looking at it's not Sinner's strong point, right?
No.
I mean, they do have some decent enough effects in it with the vampires and, the blood scene and the finale and stuff. So I see why it's nominated, but I don't think they do anything crazy enough to warrant a win here. Avatar seems to be the thing.
No, I would agree.
Okay. Best Original Score. We got Begonia, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Hamnet. So let's go and discuss these one at a time. So first we got Begonia. I assume you've seen that?
Yes.
I'm going to be honest. So I do like Begonia. I liked the movie. I don't recall the score with it.
I was just going to say that. I feel vindicated by you saying that. I do not remember the score to this movie as much as I remember Hamnet,
everything else about it.
Another, Sinners. Like, I remember the score to that. Even Frankenstein, to some extent. Yeah.
Frankenstein's got a big, strong, gothic score. It's strong. I like it.
Yeah, I do not remember Begonia's at all.
Hamnet is Max Richter, who I'm a big fan of his work, his classical work. So you might not know this about me, but I listen to a lot of classical music. I specifically listen to a lot of movie scores on top of that as well. But Max Richter, I've listened to a lot because he does the song that I feel like the finale of this movie where he does his main sad song there that is like known for being the saddest song of all time.
Yeah.
I feel like they were like, what's the saddest song of all time? And like they started there. They're like, make it like this. What's that song called? It's called like On the Nature of Daylight.
Daylight. There we go. Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like they were like, we want to end with something really powerful but sad, kind of like On the Nature of Daylight. And I feel like it was one of those situations where they like plugged that song in and were like, that's the song. They're like, just make a song like that. And they kept saying that the whole time. And finally he's like, do you want me to just use that song? And they did.
Yeah. I mean, it feels to me like you... Best Original Score and you use that song. It was out in 2004. Like, doesn't it automatically like kind of cancel you from this category?
Well, it's that's an interesting point, and I think you get around it because even if you have an original score, you are allowed to do like the various artist version or whatever. You're allowed to put other songs in the movie that aren't part of that score. So maybe they don't consider that part of the score, but I almost think that's cheating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a loophole, though.
I feel like its inclusion in Hamnet was actually kind of detrimental to the movie because I knew it so well, and I kept thinking to myself, like, why is this here? Why? It feels like I've heard it in a million other things. Like, I was trying to think, where did I first hear it? And I think it was in Arrival, but it was also in Hero Dreams of Sushi. It was in Shutter Island.
Yes, I was waiting for that one. I was like, is he going to say Shutter Island? I think that's the first place I heard it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it in those movies. So to hear it here, I'm like, why is it here?
The last time I heard it before this was The Last of Us. And I don't think you're ever going to make a more sad version of that song than the entire episode, basically, where that's the song of it. And after that, I was like, okay, I don't need to hear this in a movie again. So I hear you, where I'm like, on the other hand, I'm like, okay, well, we watch a lot of movies. So this is going to be somebody's first time. A lot of people's first time hearing that song, probably. But, like, yeah, I agree. For anybody that's like a cinephile like us, you've heard that song used in that exact way half a dozen times already. So it did kind of feel like cheating. So
I agree.
Good conversation
I
about
feel like
that.
This one's got to go to, I don't know, it's again, One Battle After Another or Sinners, one of the two of them, in my opinion. Like, One Battle After Another, the Johnny Greenwood score is great. I love Radiohead anyway, but I think that this is just a great score. But then again, Sinners, it was fantastic too.
You know what I think?
Sinners? I would imagine, yeah.
I've got the Sinners soundtrack. While you took a little break there, I was downstairs and I was like, oh, we got score next. I should grab that. So yeah, I have both versions of the soundtrack. I have the various artists version and I have the score version. Sarah legitimately got so annoyed with me for a certain period of time last year because I think I listened to the score to Sinners about 80 times.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best scores ever made. Ludwig Göransson has won this award before, so I will tell you, I love the score to One Battle After Another. I think it's great. There's some snubs for this category I want to talk about in a moment, too, that I think are much stronger than these other ones. But I do love the One Battle After Another score. But I don't think you can... It's a more traditional score, whereas Sinners feels just iconic. It is not easy to create the score that they made with this, where you're leaning into like this blues sound and an entire scene of the movie, and the movie itself, the plot revolves around, like, the score is part of the story in this, you know, and because of all those things, because it's a movie about music and the blues aspect is so strong in it, and all the characters, you know, playing the music is such a huge part of their characters. Like, I don't see there being a way that Sinners doesn't win this.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree. I'm on board with that. I agree with that.
So talking about some snubs, I think F1 should have gotten a nomination here. Hans Zimmer, come on. I think that I would switch out with Begonia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't remember anything about the Begonia score, but I really like the F1 score. Big fan of that. I listen to it all the time. Jay Kelly has a phenomenal score too, and I've listened to that many, many, many times, and I think that would deserve to be up here too.
Yeah, I think Jay Kelly had a great one. I think Blue Moon, I'm surprised that it's not up here too.
Train Dreams.
Yeah, I was just going to say Train Dreams. There's a ton of things. If we're going to talk snubs, like, I'm surprised that, like, The Testament of Anne Lee isn't more, like, central to the Academy Awards this year, specifically Best Actress with Amanda Seyfried. But, like, in costume design, I also think the music was really great for that movie too. So it's a musical drama, but it was great.
I haven't seen that one, but I had heard people talk about the music with it specifically.
Yeah. So that was one that I'm like, I don't understand how that is.
Because that's a musical, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And so I'm not sure how that wasn't featured at all, but
you know why? Because it's a musical.
Exactly. Yes.
I think that now that you have they've made like a part of the rules, like you have to watch the movies. I think people just didn't watch the musicals, so they didn't vote them into this because they didn't watch them. So I think that's tough for people.
I agree.
It doesn't make it right. It's just, you know.
I think the times of Chicago winning it all are long past.
the Tron Ares soundtrack. I loved
Great.
what Nine Inch Nails did with that.
I would agree. I think that is a snub on its own. Tron Ares was not my favorite, but it wasn't bad.
I'm a huge fan of that. So that's kind of like it for me. We got Jay Kelly, we got F1, we got Tron Ares. I think those three scores really, really should have been up here. And so with Nine Inch Nails there, it's Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. They got snubbed for Challengers, too.
Yeah.
Say what you want about the movie Challengers. I did like it, but the score is great with it.
I just don't know. I don't know if that type of movie really resonates. That type of music really resonates with the Academy. Especially
maybe it
now that the Academy is much more international. I don't know if it really resonates with them, too.
Could be. It's unfortunate.
I agree.
I think that most years Hans Zimmer would end up on here, and I think F1 is pretty well liked, but I think that it's not liked from the perspective of what you're thinking about when you're thinking about the Oscars. This soundtrack for him, the score, it's a very traditional Hans Zimmer soundtrack, you know, like the ones he used to do a lot in like the 90s and 2000s. It reminded me a lot of those, and from that perspective, I really, really enjoyed it. I was listening to that soundtrack before I even saw the movie because it popped onto my algorithm one day, and I was like, oh man, what the hell is this? I was like, oh, F1, I gotta go see you now. This sounds like it's almost got like an 80s feel to it, you know? It's just got that old school feeling to it. So I was a big fan of that one.
Yeah, I'll give it to you. I totally forgot about Tron Ares, and I do think that deserved at least a call out. Like, hey, this is pretty great. I mean, even in the scale of those movies, you really can't beat what Daft Punk did, but still, it was worth it to put it up there.
I think this is the best version of what we get outside of another Daft Punk, right?
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
that soundtrack is out of this world, but
unbelievable. I don't know how that should have won all the awards. That soundtrack in particular.
Yeah. All right. Anything else for best score?
No.
All right. Then let's move along to best adapted screenplay. As a reminder to everyone, this is basically when you did an adaptation of an existing work, like a book. I think all of these are books, with the other screenplay option being original, when you thought of it completely on its own. So that's the difference between Sinners and One Battle After Another here. Sinners is 100% created as an original work, and One Battle After Another is based off a book. So that's how that got separated into these two different categories on this one. And I'd say, so what we've got here is Begonia, Frankenstein, Train Dreams, Hamnet, One Battle After Another. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I think it's probably One Battle After Another. Hamnet was really well done in terms of a screenplay. I also think Train Dreams, I've read the book by Dennis Johnson. It's great, but it's a little small novella, and to take it and to make it into this is pretty remarkable. Just a shout out to Train Dreams. I don't think it's going to win. I think One Battle After Another will. I don't know if you've read Vineland, but Vineland is much different than One Battle After Another. They share some similarities, but I would say that it is heavily adapted. It feels almost, One Battle After Another feels like almost an original thing on its own, as opposed to an adapted thing from Vineland. It feels less Pynchon than I think it should be, but if we're going to give it adapted screenplay, I think it probably wins there. Hamnet should. Hamnet is really well done, I think.
I'm going to give it to Hamnet on this one.
You really? Okay.
I think if they're going to... so many of these categories are Sinners or One Battle After Another, and I think this might be the place where somebody else rises above. And I think the writing specifically is one of the really best parts of Hamnet. It's extremely well written, and I think that's one of Hamnet's biggest strengths. So I tend to go the direction of, like, this category might be one that surprises people, I think.
Okay, I'm happy with that. I really liked Hamnet. I really enjoyed the book when I read it. I think the adaptation is really beautiful. Hamnet and another film that we'll talk about later are the two dark horses for me to potentially like win it all, in my opinion. But
All right.
I'm happy if it's Hamnet.
All right. Let's jump over to best makeup and hairstyling.
So I will be pretty upfront. I have not seen Koku.
Yeah, neither have I. And then we got The Smashing Machine, The Ugly Stepsister, which I haven't seen and I should have because it's been so long. I think that's the only thing that got a nomination for. That's a horror movie. Then we got Sinners and Frankenstein.
I've not seen 1, 2, 3 of the movies in these 5 here, so I do not feel like I can make a choice here. The Smashing Machine, just knowing what I know about that movie and the way in which The Rock transformed his whole basically face on that's pretty intense. It does seem like this has to be Frankenstein's, though, in many way, just in the way that Jacob Elordi is like completely transformed. I mean, Frankenstein really does feel like the Poor Things. It does feel like the Poor Things of this year. So I would give it to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're spot on that. So I haven't seen Kokuho or The Ugly Stepsister or The Smashing Machine. I agree that The Smashing Machine does have that leg up because of The Rock's makeup effects. I think that's a big part of that character. I think the other part of it is his speech patterns that he uses in that.
Yeah.
Those two things sort of make that role for him, and he's a big part of that. But Frankenstein is, I mean, you've got full body makeup on Jacob Elordi that I would have to imagine 6, 8, 12 hours a day. They're putting that stuff on him before he goes out there and does his thing. And then you've got all the hair and makeup on Mia Goth. And like I was mentioning before, her at the beginning, how convincingly they make subtle changes to her. I think her character at the beginning as Frankenstein's mother is just as impressive as the Smashing Machine's Rock character. And so then you add Frankenstein into that, I think it's got to be Frankenstein.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Now, you never know, though. Ugly Stepsister could pop up here. I've seen some screenshots, and it's pretty gruesome stuff, but I don't think it'll win. And horror doesn't usually win things like this. Where's weapons in this category?
I was just going to say, weapons seems like it fits, but I think there's only really one transformation in that movie, as opposed to Frankenstein, which I think there are multiple things that happen in that. I don't know. I would say Frankenstein wins this. I feel bad because I have not seen 3 of the others, so I feel kind of uninformed, but it does feel like a Frankenstein thing to win, to lose here. So
yeah. All right. Going with Frankenstein. All right, let's jump over to Best Original Screenplay. So we've got It Was Just an Accident, which I have not seen. We've got Blue Moon, which I have seen. And then we've got Marty Supreme, Sinners, and Sentimental Value. So this is a tough category right here. Real tough stuff. So I've seen 4 out of 5 of them. Man,
me too.
If Blue Moon is going to win anything, this might be the spot, right?
I don't think so. Sentimental Value is,
you think,
unbelievably written. That is a really tight film about a director and actress, and it feels like a movie written for the Academy, to the Academy. I don't know how this kind of loses that. It's also really tightly written. As much as I love Sinners, Sentimental Value feels like this is where you award it. Like, original screenplay, this is where it gets it. I do think it's going to be Sinners that wins this, though.
My only thing with Sentimental Value is that if somebody looks at it and they've seen the other movies this year, it does cover a lot of the same like plot pieces. Like it's got some similarities to 2 other movies that came out this year in the way it's told very differently, but its story is very similar to both Jay Kelly and Hamnet in the way of it being about creating this piece of art in order to deal with a loss of a family member or a loss of a relationship.
Yep.
They're both kind of dealing with the same themes there, and so I can't help but wonder if when somebody's looking at how original this is, they think about those things. And now, with that being said, I think this is the only time that can be a detriment. In all the other ways, I just found it absolutely fascinating that there were 3 movies telling similar themes in that, but in such completely different ways as to all 3 of those movies. And I love all 3 in different ways. I think Hamnet is much more sad.
Yeah.
I think Sentimental Value is very, very emotional while not necessarily being sad, but
Yes.
emotional in a different way. And I did also think, as I was watching Sentimental Value, I'm like, I truly believe that anybody that has like a degree in psychology is probably having a field day watching this movie right now, because there's so many things that I'm like I'm smart enough to know that it's layered, but not quite smart enough to know exactly how deep it is. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah, Stellan Skarsgård character is so I feel for him, and I also recognize that guy's a dick. Like, what a dick. But also, I just feel so sad for him, and my heart goes out to him. And then, likewise, like, both of the daughters are the heart of this movie, and they play such totally different roles. And Nora is so similar to her father, whereas Agnes is so different from her father. And at the end of the movie, spoiler, but at the end of the movie where Agnes says, like, the difference between me and you is I had you, and by extension, like, she didn't have anybody, and so she protected her. And to come to that realization at the end where it was just like, you know, I grew up with things that both her father and her sister did not. It was just a powerful moment in that movie where I was like, wow, I mean, what a way to come about this whole movie of this. Stellan Skarsgård's character is a bit of a narcissist. He's a bit, and he extends this like love and courtesy out to Rachel, but he does not extend that courtesy out to his daughters in many ways, and he expects very high things of them. And then to flip it around and just see it from the daughter's perspective and how kind of gracefully one deals with it, whereas another just kind of decays throughout that movie. It's beautiful and tough and really well written and so defined. I loved that movie. It was the last one of all of these movies that I watched, and I felt like, oh, this totally should be much higher on the list than others. It was beautiful.
Did you see Jay Kelly?
Yes, I liked Jay Kelly. But I will say it was very Noah Baumbach. It was so kind of, I don't know how to describe it other than like, there was parts of it where I just felt like, okay, right? Like, there's just a little bit more that I wanted out of that. And I'm not surprised that it wasn't like elevated to all of these different levels, because it, to me, did not feel like a movie that was, I hate to say it, but like it just felt like it was missing one thing. Adam Sandler was great in it. I thought George Clooney was fine in it. I think Noah Baumbach gets the best out of his performers when he puts people who have both that kind of like charm and this also like deep mystery in there. Adam Driver is a perfect example. Greta Gerwig is another example. I wish he would have used Adam Sandler more, and I would not have been surprised if Adam Sandler was nominated for more things here. So, I mean, I liked that movie. I did feel, though, at the end, like they were kind of giving George Clooney's character a pass for a lot of his like unreconciled dickery in that movie. He was just a dick in that movie at times, I felt like. And towards the end of it, I did not, you know, he's just sitting in the theater looking over his life, and he was like, I would do it again. And I was like, okay, yeah, like, oh, great. Like, you didn't learn anything from what you just went through. I know you feel sad, but
and that's the interesting part of those 3 is all 3 deal with the idea of what it is to be a family member of somebody who is in show business or an artist or whatever it
Yes.
is. It's an actor, a director, and a writer, right?
Yes.
What it is to be in the family of somebody who is, quote unquote genius. And so it's interesting how differently they tell the story in
I
all
agree.
three ways. It's
That's
also
really
interesting that we got
interesting.
all three of those movies in one year, But
And
it doesn't,
it's-
on your note, it doesn't surprise me that Jay Kelly's the one that doesn't get the nomination here, too, because it is the one where he kind of is like, he gets to the end and he's like, well, when all's said and done, I would do it again. I would sacrifice my relationship with my family just to do this again. And I don't think they stick the landing quite enough for in the way the other two do,
I agree.
to make him a
and I think
sympathetic character.
the other two are working through demons through art, right? And I don't know. I think in Jay Kelly, he's realizing like he was at one point, but then lost it along the way and is trying to gain it back. But at the end of all of it, he's like, I'd do it again. So I just don't know if the moral of the story really hits for me. Whereas in Hamnet, I do feel like he wrote that in order to exorcise a lot of these demons. And in Sentimental Value, he wrote that in order to kind of reconcile his relationships, but also exorcise these demons. And he's still a dick at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, let's not forget, like, Stellan Skarsgård's character is still an asshole, kind of, at the end of that movie. The only difference is that, like, he's kind of become a little bit more vulnerable to his children as a result of the screenplay.
And then you get
in
to
the
Jay
movie.
Kelly, and he just did it for show business, right? He did it to
Exactly,
be
yeah.
just a rich movie star.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a difference. I think I was impressed by how powerful the screenplay for Sentimental Value was. And I also think if we're talking about some of the best performances of the year, the three leads in that, Agnes, Nora, and Stellan Skarsgård's characters, are all among the top best performances I've seen this year. Specifically, Agnes and Nora's dynamic is really, really well done.
Yeah, absolutely. So to just touch on who won this one in the past, last year was Nora beating out The Brutalist, A Real Pain. A Real Pain really reminded me a lot of Jay Kelly, actually.
Yeah.
And The Substance in September 5th. Year before that, we had Anatomy of a Fall beating out The Holdovers and Past Lives and some others. Before that, Everything Everywhere All at Once, then Belfast, then Promising Young Woman. So it's interesting choices on this, on where it goes. So it does seem like one of those categories where maybe they throw a bone to somebody they wouldn't usually. And maybe that is Sentimental Value. I think there's a good chance. I think Sinners is the one to beat.
Yeah.
I think if anybody's going to beat it here, you're right. It probably is Sentimental Value. I think Blue Moon might have a chance, though. It's an original story. It just seems like one that the Oscars love, too. Ethan Hawke and... who's the director there?
Richard Linklater.
Yes. Him and Ethan Hawke have been planning to make this for the longest time. And so Ethan Hawke did an interview where he was talking about this movie and how it was written 10 years ago, and they've just been waiting for, basically for him to get to the right age to be able to play the part. And so it is a really, really well-written screenplay.
I agree. It's also, we can talk about snubs when we get to it, but like this is a snub on its own. Ethan Hawke is not nominated for Best Supporting Actress or Best Supporting Actor or Best Actor in these categories. And so if there is any place where they need to recognize it, it could be here.
He is nominated in Best Actor.
Oh, is he? Okay, great.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was looking for it. That's why I was silent for a moment
good.
there.
All right.
Because I was like, I
Okay.
could have sworn. Yeah, but the movie itself didn't get nominated for Best Picture.
There
Maybe
we go.
that's
Okay, that's what it
the
is.
snub you're
Yes.
thinking of.
Okay.
I think Blue Moon and Sentimental Value are the more traditional Oscars choices here.
Yeah.
Over a big gun like Sinners. Although we can't forget that last year, Anora kind of, bulldozed over everybody in a bunch of these categories. So you just
would
never
agree,
know.
yeah.
Maybe Sinners does that again. Because it seems like when the voters like something, they love it, right?
Yeah. We'll see. I would be surprised.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over to Best Original Song. So we got Train Dreams, we got Golden, we got Sweet Dreams of Joy, and that's from Viva Verdi. That's the yeah. I don't know what that is. We've got Dear Me by Diane Warren. That's a documentary about Diane Warren. And we got I Lied to You from Sinners. Golden is from K-pop Demon Hunters, right?
Yes. I mean, if we're going to go popular, it probably would be Golden here. And I think if you throw a bone to anything here, it would be to Golden. K-pop Demon Hunter was really big, and it still is pretty big among everybody. I loved that movie. I thought it was really great. I would love to see it kind of be elevated here. I think it's I Lied to You, though, is going to win this.
Yeah, there was an award show, maybe it was the Golden Globes, where K-pop Demon Hunters won the Best Original Song there, I want to say, and it was over I Lied to You. But my money is that at least I Lied to You should win. It's for all those reasons I mentioned before. It's a big part of the plot. It's the story and the entire scene that surrounds this movie, how that is shot. It looks like a one-shot, but it isn't a one-shot because they shot it so intricately. And so the whole scene of how they play that song out, I think it's just one of those things where it's truly, truly iconic. It's something you just don't get something that special. The way the scene unfolds and the music goes along with it and all of it together. So I think there's a good chance Golden gets this, but I think I Lied to You should get it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's probably... It'll either be between one of those two. I do think that there is a population of... I mean, the Academy is much more international now. I think that plays into Golden being kind of a winner here. I think the kind of surprise that happened with K-pop Demon Hunters being so big and sweeping across like the globe in terms of popularity, I think it plays well into this. I would not be surprised to see it win. But I do think it's between those two.
I want to throw a curveball at you right here. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I was acutely aware of it. So I just looked up what the official number is. And we both know the Academy loves to give awards in order to kind of make up for past wrongs. Diane Warren has the longest Oscar losing streak of all time, going 0 for 16 in nominations for this category. So they might give it to her just to make up for 16 losses, which is massive, right?
We'll see. I mean, that's interesting. That is interesting. Let's see.
It would be funny if it was finally the one that she gets is for the documentary about her.
Yeah, that also feels like a little too on the nose there.
Yeah, but it's worth pointing that out, that there is a huge chance that happens. Look at Al Pacino. The thing he won for is Scent of a Woman, not the Godfather movies, not Dog Day Afternoon. Scent of a Woman.
Yeah, I mean, he should have won for Dog Day Afternoon. We can have that some other time.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we'll get a just completely out of nowhere choice, and they'll be like, Train Dreams.
Let's see. Yeah.
All right. We're into the big guns. So we got Best Supporting Actor. We got Delroy Lindo, Jacob Elordi, Stellan Skarsgård, Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn. Holy shit, this is a difficult category. Hugely difficult.
Any year, they probably would all be deserving. This is the hardest one for me because I think this is the only movie in a long time that I've seen Stellan Skarsgård in a completely different light after I left it, right? Usually he is like gruff voice and like mannerisms are always just like, you know, he's a tough bastard and a guy who you just don't want to... Baron Harkonnen, and you know, even like the professor.
Why did I give up everything?
Yeah, exactly. Fucking Andor, like all of these things. In this movie, he's a broken, kind of like torn up inside human being, and it is a different dimension of Stellan Skarsgård than I've seen in a really long time. And as a result of that, it may just be recency bias, but wow, like holy cow, what a performance. Sean Penn, also, wow, like that is still, when I think about One Battle After Another and I think about performances, I think about Leonardo DiCaprio screaming his ass off and falling from his building and like doing all of that stuff. I think about the sensei, like, and that hilarious scene where he's walking through his building. But really what I think about is Sean Penn licking his lips and being a complete creep the whole damn time. And he did a great job at that. So, and Jacob Elordi, I think, is going to have a career in which he's going to find other roles that he's going to be really great at. He was excellent in this. He was a little emo-y, but I think he's the weakest of the five.
I agree.
Delroy Lindo, I actually think that he has a shot at winning this.
I do as well.
And I think that the One Battle After Another kind of duo here is going to steal votes from one another. I think Stellan Skarsgård is deserving of this, but I don't know if he's going to get a lot of votes. I think Delroy Lindo could win this as a result of it.
Yeah, so it's such an interesting category. I agree, Jacob Elordi, I don't think he stands a chance stacked up against these other guys.
No.
Stellan Skarsgård has been doing this a very, very, very long time. He's put out a ton of quality performances, and he's well loved in the industry. And, it's a family. He's got all his sons that are actors too, and so he's well liked. And I think a lot of people got to look at him and this role, and it was in the news not too long ago that he's got some like cognitive decline at this point and really struggles sort of having conversations with people. And he acts well because he can memorize lines, basically, is his strength in that right now. But he's having those declines away. So you have to wonder, with that happening and looking at this, how many more roles like this he has in him. And I think that story, because the Oscars love a story, I think the story of this storied career that he's been doing this for such a long time and such a breadth of, performances, you look at him and you say, give him one here. And because you just don't know if he's going to put out this late in his life, this is probably his performance. But then you look over at Delroy Lindo and he has such a similar story, right?
Yeah.
And he's well liked, and he's done so many performances, and he's one of those actors that you just get the feeling that they're such a powerful actor, but they've not been given the proper parts, or they've knocked it out of the park with parts, but not in the right movie, or like the stars have just never aligned for them. And I've always really seen him as such a wonderful character actor that you see right here, everything about his performance is just so powerful. And so I think there's a really, really good chance that he does get it. And I mean, he just won it at the Actors Award there. So I think there is a good chance because he is really liked in the industry. Your point that Benicio and Sean Penn might end up cannibalizing each other's votes, I think that is something you got to take into account here. I keep track of stuff on Reddit. Everybody on the Oscars subreddit is pegging Sean Penn for this.
Yeah.
I think they're giving him a little bit too much strength on that, because for what it's worth, that subreddit does not seem to like Sinners as much as a lot of other people do. Every day it's a new post about how overrated the movie is. You got to wonder if it's 75% bots in there or something. But it is worth noting. I think, man, you look at Benicio del Toro and you just say, like, any other year he's probably got this, right?
100%. Yeah.
Because he's so good at it. And it's understated. It's an understated performance that is so uniquely him. It's Sean Penn's role is in your face. Benicio del Toro's under. Yeah.
It's the exact opposite between the two of them. I do think, Delroy Lindo is like Spike Lee's guy too, right? Like all of Spike Lee's movies, when he's in there, you suddenly are like, oh man, like I think he's called like Spike Lee's secret weapon, which is totally makes sense. This isn't a Spike Lee film, and he's thrown into a spotlight, and he performs exceptionally well. And, it could be the year that he gets it. Stellan Skarsgård, I think that this is the better performance of the 5. I think it's a battle between Sean Penn and Delroy Lindo and Stellan Skarsgård, but I think just having seen Stellan Skarsgård in so many things, knowing his command and seeing him kind of wither in this role is unbelievable. I think it was great. I would personally give it to Stellan Skarsgård, but I would not be upset with Delroy Lindo or Sean Penn or Benicio del Toro winning this.
I'm pretty close, just slightly misbalanced the other way, where I think it will be Stellan Skarsgård, but really? I would give it to Delroy Lindo. And so with that being said, I would like it to be Delroy Lindo, but I do think it's a long shot. I think it will be Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah.
But I won't be mad with either one of them.
Me neither. I wouldn't be mad with any 4 of the 5, right?
Yeah. If it's Jacob Elordi, we'll probably be mad.
What happened here, guys? Yes, I would agree. But any of the others, just great performances. Any other year, if they were nominated on their own, they would win it.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Tough category.
Yes.
All right. Next one, we got Best Animated Feature. So we got Arco, we got K-Pop Demon Hunters, we got Little Amelie, or The Character of Water, we got Elio, we got Zootopia. I have not seen any of these, so I'm going to pass the ball over to Paul. Take it away.
I've seen all but Little Amelie or The Character of Rain. I have not seen
Character of Rain, not water.
I really loved Elio. I thought it was a very moving movie at times. I thought of the Pixar films that have happened recently, I think this is one that feels to me like what Pixar strives to be. It's an original film. It also just feels like its politics are sorted out, right? I just watched the new Pixar film. I can't even think of what it's called. Hoppers, I think it's called. Yeah. And Hoppers was a huge disappointment to me. I did not like it at all.
Sarah wanted to go see that this weekend.
Yeah, I think Elio is a better film. I'm also a big sci-fi guy. I liked it a lot. Arco, to me, wins this any other year. It's a really, really beautiful and touching story. I liked it a lot. But this year, it's got to be K-Pop Demon Hunters, in my opinion. Zootopia 2 is fine. K-Pop Demon Hunters came out of nowhere, seemingly, just took everybody by storm. It was a huge hit. It's a fun movie. Actually, surprisingly, I feel like it has a lot of similarities to Everything Everywhere All at Once in terms of how kind of celebrated it became among a lot of people. The only difference is it's an animated film as opposed to a live action film. I like this movie a lot. I don't know if it'll win. I do hope that K-Pop Demon Hunters will win. If it doesn't, I would like to see Arco up there. Elio I wouldn't be upset with. The other two, I have not seen Little Amelie, and Zootopia 2 was fine. It was a sequel. I hope that if they do a third, I hope that it's a little stronger. Let's just say that. But yeah, K-Pop Demon Hunters is my vote here.
That seems to be the popular vote all around, that it's going to completely run away with this award and that the others don't stand a chance. Last year was a little bit of a surprise. Flow was last year, and I think a lot of people thought it was going to be Wild Robot, which I did see the Wild Robot, and I did like that. That was good.
I liked the Wild Robot. I thought it should have won. Yeah.
Before that, it was The Boy and the Heron. Before that, it was Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, which I loved that so much.
I thought it was fine.
I loved it, man.
I realize I might not be the Guillermo del Toro guy.
Well, it's interesting because he's got, I think, like different styles for his movies, and I think this one leans more towards The Labyrinth than The Crimson Peak. I think that The Shape of Water, I really liked The Shape of Water. I think that one leaned more towards like the Blade 2 / the Hellboy style, which It's interesting because you can see that Hellboy 1 and 2 style in his Frankenstein, right?
Oh, very much so. Yes.
But I really like Hellboy 1 and 2.
Me too.
But like, yeah, Frankenstein and Crimson Peak specifically, those both kind of lean into each other, and I wasn't big on either one of those. So
Me neither. My favorite Del Toro film is Hellboy 1. I still think it's really great. Pan's Labyrinth is awesome too, but I just think
yeah, Pan's
let's
Labyrinth's
give him
my
more of that.
favorite.
Yeah.
It took me completely by surprise.
Oh yeah. It's a great.
I had no idea what I was expecting with that one. Way darker than I expected it was going to be.
Me too. Yeah. I think the Academy liked it too, which was also very surprising too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it took them by surprise too. They're like, oh, this
Yeah.
is the guy that made Blade 2 and Mimic? Which I'll say, I like both of those too. I actually love Blade 2. Blade 2 is one of my favorite comic book movies.
Blade in general. I think that's Wesley Snipes. Yeah. Nobody else can play it. I agree with him in Deadpool and Wolverine. There's only him.
All right, jumping over to Best Supporting Actress, another hugely difficult category. So we got Tiana Taylor, we got Amy Madigan with Weapons, we've got Wunmi Mosaku, we've got Inga Ibsdottir Lilias from Sentimental Value, and we've got Elle Fanning from Sentimental Value. You want to lead this one off?
Let's just take a minute and just think. The wife from Field of Dreams is going to be the villain in a horror movie and is going to be the most terrifying villain, in my opinion, in a really long time. She was great in that. I do think that she's going to win this. I hope she does. Amy Madigan in that movie was just terrifying. And
I
she
will
was just
say,
great. Yeah.
despite me being slightly lukewarm on it, I don't think it's bad. I'd still give it like a 3.5 out of 10, out of 5. Yeah, out of 10.
Yeah, not a 10. Whoa, what?
Out of 5. But there is, like I said before, credit where credit's due. There is no denying that she is extremely strong in this movie. Possibly the strongest part of this movie.
Yes.
She is deathly scary. She is sinister, she's gross, she's evil, she's got no care for anybody. Slight spoiler for the movie. It's never quite explained whether she's really related to this family, but either way, the mystery behind that's why I kind of hope they don't make like a prequel where they explain a lot with her.
Me too.
They very well may, but that they've talked about it. But it's the idea that she is either this, leeching off this family that is her family, or she has killed this person and replaced them and is pretending to be them because, it's either way, it's pure evil. And she exemplifies that very well.
And she came out of nowhere. Like, when was the last thing Amy Madigan did before this? 4 years ago? A long time ago. So she just came out of nowhere and suddenly is like here and is playing a main role. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I thought that was fantastic. I think that she did a really great job. She still I think about this movie often, and I think about just the way in which she, she's taking off all of her makeup and wig and everything, and how she looks so naked, but also terrifying, without all of her makeup and hair on. It's crazy. She's my runaway favorite for that. If we go through the rest of the nominees here, I think Elle Fanning did a great job in this movie. I don't know if I would have nominated her for Best Supporting Actress here.
Once I knew she was nominated for this, I went in specifically watching her character, and I was somewhat disappointed because I was like, okay, yeah, she does well. She does, but I could probably find, a stronger performance to put in that category if I wanted, in her place.
I mean, it's interesting that they nominated her over Ariana Grande, for example. Like, I assumed Ariana Grande was going to be nominated here, and it's interesting that she is not, and that Elle Fanning is. I will say Tiana Taylor did a great job and deserves this nomination. I don't know, I can't pronounce her name, but Inga from Sentimental Value, aside from Stellan Skarsgård, that's the best acting performance in that movie, in my opinion, is like she did a phenomenal job in that. Those are my picks. I would say it would probably be Amy Madigan far and away, Tiana Taylor right behind it.
I think Tiana Taylor is very, very strong in this category. I think there's a very good chance she wins it. I think Amy Madigan, despite me considering her role and acting so strong, I think it's such a long shot, especially because it's coming from a horror movie. I'm just surprised she's here. Like, not that she doesn't deserve it, just that horror never gets that kind of love in these categories. So I think it's a really long shot. Wunmi Mosaku, though, let's not
I agree. Yeah.
undersell her here. She's extremely strong here as well. And to know that she's British playing that part with that accent too is so surprising. Like, I swear to God, British people can do accents like no other. It's crazy.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, she does an exemplary job in this movie. This is another tough one. Inga in Sentimental Value is also stunning to look at that movie in terms of the way she uses her face. I just want to credit that to, like, there are times where she's just staring at another person and like slightly crying or like thinking. There's a scene where her and her father are sitting on a bench together and they're looking out at Eric playing in the yard, and there's just so many emotions that run through her face. She does a great job there. Tiana Taylor's performance is very big in this. Not in a bad way, but just like, she is big in this, and I think she needs to be. The role is designed for that. Amy Madigan is terrifying. I do think that there's a possibility that Sinners wins this. I can't pronounce her name. What's her name again?
Wunmi Mosaku.
Okay. Wunmi Mosaku. Yeah, she was excellent in this movie.
I think it's between Tiana Taylor and Wunmi Mosaku, to be honest. I think Inga is very strong. Yeah. I think she's stronger than Elle Fanning. I think Oscars voters will like her more than Amy Madigan. I think Amy Madigan's still strong. I think this was a very, very tough category, but I think it's between Tiana Taylor and Wunmi Mosaku. Yeah, because I think we're getting to the point where they're going to want to start passing out some awards to One Battle After Another if they've been snubbed in other areas. And you got to imagine that by this point, they've not given some love over there to One Battle After Another, or maybe it's the other way around.
I was just going to say.
But I'd say there's a good chance Tiana Taylor gets this, because it seems like one of those things where... like sometimes voters look and they're like, they see somebody and like, there's kind of like two different kinds of votes. You've got the one for the Leonardo DiCaprios out there where they're like, we know you're going to be putting forth, role after role like this. So if we don't give this to you now, we know you're going to get another role like this in the future. I have to wonder if it's the and that is what I'm thinking with that for him. But for Tiana Taylor, I have to wonder if they might be thinking, is she going to get that many parts that are this strong where we just give this to her now? Because, I mean, there's something to be said about the fact that there's not as many opportunities out there for Black women, unfortunately. And so this is it. And this is sort of a once in a career part on some avenues of that, like Leonardo DiCaprio sees parts like this all the time. The Tiana Taylors of the world don't. So I wonder if there's something to be said there. Looking at Wunmi Mosaku, she's put forth a ton of parts like this already, where she's done these supporting roles and not gotten something like this. So I do think that I want to say it's Wunmi Mosaku, but I think there's a good chance it ends up Tiana Taylor.
I think it's going to be Amy Madigan. I hope.
I'm going to go with Wunmi Mosaku. All right.
We'll put money on it. Off screen.
All right, Best International Feature Film. So we got Secret Agent, we got It Was Just an Accident, we've got Surat, we got The Voice of Hind Rajab, and we've got Sentimental Value. No, unfortunately, I've actually only seen 2 of these. So we got The Secret Agent
too.
and we got
Yeah.
Sentimental Value. So let's take this as our opportunity to talk about The Secret Agent.
Yeah.
So I've really liked The Secret Agent. I know you didn't, but
Yeah.
it's so I was watching it and I had no idea what to expect from this movie because I'd heard things about it and I'd seen about, when I pulled it up on Hulu and it auto played part of the trailer, I'd seen about as much as I let auto play. And I was like, "Oh, Wagner Moura, I love him. Let's go for it." And man, was this just my type of movie. It reminded me of so many different things. It's got that 70s style to it. It's Brazilian. So, did you see I'm Still Here last year?
Yes. Yep.
It's telling a different type of story, leaning into those same themes of corruption with the Brazilian government in the 70s, just in a completely different style. And the 70s style to it really leaned into, like, it felt like a Quentin Tarantino movie at a lot of parts in like the best way to me. But
Yeah.
also it felt like 2 other movies, A History of Violence,
Yes. I
and
was just gonna say that.
you thought that too? It was so
Yeah.
interesting and I love A History of Violence, but
Me
it
too.
also felt a little bit like No Country for Old Men. And so combining the feel and vibe, but also like in the way of like the way they use the music and the style in it, it had its own flavor there too. So I really, really liked the movie, and I think the special effects were good. I thought just everybody that, like, I don't know how big any of these actors are in Brazil other than Wagner Moura. Extremely familiar with him. He was in Narcos and he was in Civil War. Very good in Civil War. I liked Civil War a lot, Alex Garland. But yeah, so I was really, really, really happy with this one, and I went into it with no expectations. So yeah, what do you think?
Me too. I liked it. I will say, in the same way that you had a problem with weapons like structure, I do think that Secret Agents, like the structure of it, is really like not complex, but it's ambitious, I would say. I also think like the performances are fantastic throughout all of it. I did feel at many times like it was a type of movie that I think I would have enjoyed in my youth. It just didn't hit me at the right time. But that being said, I do think that this is probably the category where it would be at least acknowledged. I thought, I'll just be honest, it didn't really like hit me as well as I thought it was going to. I watched it with my dad a couple of weeks ago and we were like, oh, this is going to be a fun thing. And he really enjoyed it. But it did feel to me like it's never, I don't know how to describe it. Like it didn't really hit. It was a little bit too ambitious. And there's also this like lingering memory thing that goes on throughout it. I don't know. It was okay. It was fine. I didn't really love it as much as you did. To me, this felt like a messier version of One Battle After Another in many ways, too.
So my favorite movie of the years is Sinners. I think One Battle After Another was my second favorite. And I was like, man, I wish I had seen this so I could factor it in my top 10. But I was like, where would I put it? And I was like, I don't think it's better than those other 2. So I would probably put it at third or fourth for the year. But it was up there for me, man. But yeah, I don't think it's as strong as those other 2. But it's a different type of story. And man, you give me a movie that accurately represents the aesthetics of the 70s. You got me halfway there already.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like a pretty solid dramatic piece too. It just feels a little bit too messy for me. I saw it and my dad was like, "Oh, this is great." And we had just recently watched One Battle After Another and he was like, "I think this is a little bit better than it." He's from West Virginia and he goes, "Well, I think it's a little bit better."
Yeah.
But to me, I think One Battle After Another, it has a little bit of comedy spliced in, but PTA, it's a little bit tighter of a film. It doesn't feel as like disjointed and yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. It is a little disjointed and it is a little chaotic at parts, and sometimes you're wondering what the hell's going on here. But it's like I feel like all of that, it just adds to its charm for me. Like every time something just completely out of left field happens, like it actually adds to the experience for me. Whereas like, yeah, it won't do that with everybody, but
yeah, and that's where I think like the Cronenberg history of violence sort of fits in, because I often felt that way about A History of Violence. Like there was parts of that movie where I do feel like it wasn't messy, so to speak, but it just felt like a little bit disjointed in some ways, where I was like, I don't necessarily feel comfortable. And I think that's Cronenberg's strength, is like a lot of the ways in which he films and structures movies, it just doesn't feel comfortable. In this way, it's a little bit different. I did not pick up on the No Country for Old Men, because I feel like No Country for Old Men is like I don't know, it's like a sculpture. Like every single scene and shot of that movie kind of fits like a puzzle piece together. But I would not be upset either with people saying The Secret Agent was the best film that they saw last year, because it's definitely unique. It feels like completely different than anything else that I saw.
Yeah, absolutely unique. So, best international feature film. I guess you're going with Sentimental Value here.
I would probably say it was Sentimental Value. To me, feels like it should win this, but
it probably is. That seems like more of the Academy type movie. Yeah. All right, best director. Jumping over here. We got Chloe Zhao, we got Ryan Coogler, Joachim Trier, Josh Safdie, and Paul Thomas Anderson. I mean, the popular money, it's Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, I mean, has he won an Academy Award, PTA?
I don't think he has. I think he's been nominated like a bunch of times, but I don't think he's ever won.
How he's not won for There Will Be Blood or The Master. Yeah, it's surprising to me.
He has been nominated 14 times, but has never won.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy.
This has to feel like the time that they're like, all right, let's just give it to him, right?
You have to. I would think so. I mean, I don't. That's just crazy that he hasn't won. I think it's between, again, Sinners and One Battle After Another. I would not be surprised to see Ryan Coogler win this.
I wouldn't either. He's extremely strong in it. He's got a story. He's proven his ability to make both a blockbuster and sort of this like indie type film, you know? Because it's such a mix of those things where it's a story he made up on his own. He saw it through the finish line with his vision. It's got that family aspect to it where it's inspired by his uncle. He's been all in the press, and he's been killing it in the press. Like, if you're talking about campaigning, he is doing it 100% the right way. So I think it's extremely strong chance that he does. Paul Thomas Anderson, for what it's worth, he's not known for his campaigning, and maybe that's the problem, you know? Not playing the game.
Maybe, possibly. Floored that he hasn't won for these other films. I mean, I love One Battle After Another. I think it's fantastic. There Will Be Blood is a very strong film too. I'm surprised that he has not won for There Will Be Blood.
I've abandoned my child.
My boy.
I've abandoned my boy.
I can't believe that. But in any other year, I think it would be PTA. I do think that there is a strong inside shot that Ryan Coogler gets it this year. Josh Safdie, I don't think has any shot right now. Chloe Zhao has already won, so I don't think that she gets it.
I will say for her, keep making movies like this.
Oh,
right?
Man. Yeah. Don't
stay away from Eternals.
Yeah. I mean, I liked Nomadland. This is beautiful. Hamnet was a beautiful movie.
Yeah, I think this is better than Nomadland. So it's weird how that stuff works out, right? Where she might win for that one, but not this one.
Yeah, Joachim Trier, I think is his name. Joachim Trier. I do think that he eventually wins an Academy Award if he keeps making films like this. I don't know if you saw The Worst Person in the World.
No,
but The Worst Person in the World was a fantastic movie, unbelievable, and Sentimental Value is just as good. If he keeps making films like that, I do think he'll eventually win an Academy Award. It's just fantastic. So, yeah, I don't think it's his year.
I agree. I think there's a good chance Paul Thomas Anderson gets this.
Yep.
It's deserved. It's absolutely deserved. I love One Battle After Another. But I think the reason he might get it over Ryan Coogler is simply because he's been nominated without winning so many times.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think they look at Ryan Coogler and they say, you'll get another bite at the apple, right?
Yes, I would agree. Yeah.
Although I would be very happy if Ryan Coogler wins this, and I would prefer him to win it, actually.
Yeah. I would be fine if Ryan Coogler wins this. I do think it's going to be one of the two of them. It's going to be a toss-up between that.
Yep. Right. Only 3 left. On to Best Actress. So we got Emma Stone for Begonia. We got Jessie Buckley for Hamnet. We got Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue. We got Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. And we've got Renate Reinsve with Sentimental Value.
Yeah. I mean, Jessie Buckley, next category. Like, there's hands down, there's nobody else in this list who had anywhere near performance that Jessie Buckley did in Hamnet. And
have you seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You?
Yes, it broke me. I have a daughter who has medical conditions, and it is a really, really tough watch for anyone who also has a kid with like chronic medical conditions. And Rose Byrne captures that just beautifully and intensely. And I do think that, like we've said often, like in any other year, Rose Byrne could win this. Jessie Buckley's performance in Hamnet is hands down one of the best performances I've seen ever. Like, the scene where Hamnet dies and she's just holding him and then she's like kissing him and then leans back and lets out this like guttural roar and then like is stunned. Not to mention many of the other scenes where she's just like both steals the camera and is heartbreakingly like beautiful and like broken and like happy and sad. Like any sort of emotion that she has just radiates. It's unbelievable, that performance. She definitely wins in my opinion. Nobody else on this list comes even close. It's upsetting for Rose Byrne.
I asked that because I'd heard a lot of people really, really rave about her performance in that throughout the year.
It was great.
To your point about Jessie Buckley, I think one of the strengths of her too is her just ability to convince you that it's real, that it's happening. And I think that's one of the best signs of a good actress is when they convince you that they're not trying hard. Right? Like in that scene you're talking about where the son dies, you're completely engrossed in it because she has convinced you that it's real, that it's happening to her, and that she's not just there trying. Like sometimes you see movies and you're like, you look back at these, like they call them Oscar bait movies now, and I feel like I've got a pretty decent eye for when somebody is trying to win an award with this performance.
Yes.
I was thinking about it before. I was like, why is she not in this for The Smashing Machine, Emily Blunt? And I think that's why like it just seems like I'm trying to win an Oscar role, you know? And people made a lot of jokes about that. They were like, oh, the classic sports movie with the wife, and they even called out specific lines of hers in the trailer, and so I think that's what that was this year's. They were like, all right, like let's get out the people that are just trying to win an Oscar with their choice of a part. And yeah, I think Jessie Buckley's got it.
I have not seen Song Sung Blue, so I can't count Kate Hudson out, but I am surprised that she's here. Renate Reinsve, phenomenal, very excellent performance. Definitely not better than Rose Byrne or Jessie Buckley. Emma Stone's performance is great. This is not the strongest Emma Stone performance, in my opinion.
No, I think she nails the part perfectly, but I just think in the past there was just more meat there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the big snub for me in this category is Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee. Like,
I've heard that
was a phenomenal performance. I do not understand how she's not on here over. Like I said, I haven't seen Song Sung Blue. I don't understand how Kate Hudson would be better than Amanda Seyfried's performance. I would put it above Emma Stone's performance. And I think if Amanda Seyfried keeps making movies like that, she'll be in this category. more, but
Yeah,
man,
no love for that movie.
Yeah, I'm surprised. It was great. I love it.
Yeah.
But I think Jessie Buckley is one of those people who, when you see her in a movie or in a television show, she either stands out or she blends in. And so I had this conversation with a couple friends a couple of days ago. Like, do you remember Jessie Buckley in Chernobyl?
I've never seen Chernobyl.
Her. Oh, Chernobyl is great, but I do not remember her in Chernobyl. And then I went and rewatched
Everybody said it was
Chernobyl.
sad.
Oh, it's brutal. It's a brutal show. It's another Stellan Skarsgård thing, and it's really tough. But I didn't remember her in it. And then I went and watched it, and I was like, oh, she definitely is in it. Like, yeah, that's her. Totally makes sense. But she just blends in because she's so good. Same thing. There's a movie, Women Talking. I was like, I don't remember her in that. Went and rewatched it a couple of months ago. She's in that. I saw Men for the first time this October. She is one of only like 2 or 3 characters in that, and is just as good as she is in Hamnet, and it's really tough to watch. So she's just like in all of these different movies, she either blends in or stands out, but in all of those performances, she's really, really phenomenal. I'm really excited to see how she is in The Bride. I don't think it's going to be a good movie. I'm not sure. Everything that I've heard says it's not a good movie, so we'll see. But I'm interested to see how she is in that. But yeah.
One of hers that I've been wanting to watch here that I think I'm going to finally pull the trigger on is I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
That's what I hear. So it's been on my list for the longest time.
It came out right in the middle of COVID. And I remember watching that in the middle of COVID and thinking, like, what am I doing? Like, it's a Charlie Kaufman movie and has Jesse Plemons in it. And it's another one kind of similar to her, where it's just ethereal and she is magical in it. Yeah, I'm really excited. I hope that she wins for this. I don't see how she wouldn't.
Yeah, looking at this, she seems like the clear winner for it. So I think she's got it.
I hope so. It was an incredible performance.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over to Best Actor. So this one, I think we're gonna have some good conversation around, but I don't think it's as strong of a category as usual. So we've got Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. We've got Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme. We got Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another. We got Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. And we have Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. Now, I want to start with Leonardo DiCaprio here. I'm going to be honest. I think he's the weakest part of One Battle After Another, and I don't think it's weak acting. I just think that there's not as much like meat on the bone on his part, and maybe it's also that we know the extent to which you've seen peak DiCaprio, so like you can't be peak DiCaprio all the time. You got to give the players around you room to make their goals and all that. It comes across as a bit of an understated DiCaprio, and so I don't think he's going to win this.
I do think he probably will win.
You think so?
I think it's either going to be him or Michael B. Jordan, but here's the case for DiCaprio. Let me put it out there. This is a role that requires Leonardo DiCaprio to not be charming. In every other film, he's charming. And I would even say in The Revenant, there's some charm to him in The Revenant there. Even when he's like struggling and battling, there's just like the DiCaprio charm. In this movie, he is a kind of like pothead, loser, revolutionary. And this is the farthest you've seen Leonardo DiCaprio be a loser. Like, he's playing a loser. And I do agree. Like, I think his character is the weakest in that movie, but I think it's designed to be weakest.
Yeah.
And I think he plays really, really well. And so the first time that I saw One Battle, I thought, like, Leonardo DiCaprio is not the standout performance in that. And then the second time I saw it, I was like, I think he might be. Like, I don't know anybody else who could play that role and still come off as likable. Like, who else would you see in that role and think like, well, that's a likable dude? Like, I keep trying to put his peers in that role, and like, let's just put Brad Pitt in that. He would not come off as likable or fun, or like it wouldn't be successful. Like, I don't know. I could not see it. This is not a Timothée Chalamet role. Like, it's not a role that is really designed for anybody other than Leo, I think, could pull it off. So I think that this is I think it's a toss-up between Michael B. Jordan and Leonardo DiCaprio, in my opinion.
All right. So let's jump over to Michael B. Jordan then.
We're talking about two roles here. Like, this is two roles for him, Michael B. Jordan.
It's
crazy.
Distinctly two roles too. So I see a lot of people mention online. Sometimes I think I read the comments too much, but they're all like, "Oh, this isn't the first time anybody's ever done two roles," and it's like, nobody is saying this is the first time, but this is probably the first time that it's so distinct, and where you are able to see these roles and immediately be able to tell who it is. Now, it also really helps that all the cast is in the crew is in the media talking about everything that went into this. And I mean, you've got the scene where he's passing the cigarette between each other. So they had to shoot all these scenes twice. They had to shoot them in quick succession, and because you see the shadows, you see the sun. They're shooting these things outside, and so the fact that he could switch between those two characters so quickly and so clearly, it's extremely impressive. And I think anybody that's out there saying that he doesn't deserve it for this or anything along those lines is severely underestimating this performance. And in many ways it's understated, but it's convincing. And that's one of the biggest things. It's convincing, and it's engaging, and it's somewhat against type for him too. Like, he's still playing like a confident guy, but he's got a sensitive side to him. It's not coming off as like, it's not his Creed character, right? No. It's not Adonis Creed. It's not a Killmonger. It's very different from those. And so I think he's extremely strong here. And after he won for the actors awards, I was like, oh man, like, so actors, people, and there's a lot of actors in the Academy, the actors like him.
Yeah, I think it's, I don't see how Michael B. Jordan doesn't win this. Specifically, I think your take on Leonardo DiCaprio is a take that I think is going to be popular among a lot of people, right? In that it's a understated DiCaprio role. It's a role that kind of is weak by comparison to the rest of the cast. I do think as this film ages, that role will be elevated as, like, DiCaprio did an excellent job there. I don't know how he wasn't given an Academy Award. But besides the point, I don't think Timothée Chalamet is like the runner-up here because he's young. The Academy just does not acknowledge people who are his age as best actors, and so I think he's going to have to give it a little bit more time. I think Michael B. Jordan is put in the time. He's like been around since a little guy, gone through a lot of different films, has shown like range and dynamic range, and this film is one of like the most dynamic that he's played, so I can't see him not winning it. I do think that my toss-up in my heart is like, I think DiCaprio's role is great. I think Michael B. Jordan is really good in this too. I think Wagner Moura is actually stands an outside chance of surprising people. Like, I did not love that movie. I loved his performance. I thought he was really great in The Secret Agent. Ethan Hawke, I think Ethan Hawke is going to have another like half a dozen films in his belt where he's going to put out some good performances. I still don't understand how he didn't win for Boyhood. Yeah. But I'm like speechless over that too.
Ethan Hawke is the other one I was thinking of. I like Ethan Hawke for this more than I liked Leonardo DiCaprio for it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because everybody knows how damn charming he is too.
Yeah.
And the character he plays here is so not charming, you know?
Gross.
He's
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
convincingly
Yeah.
gross and slimy. It is an extremely complex character,
Yeah.
and to see Ethan Hawke playing it, I think it's just so difficult. It's like gross here and then like somewhat charming for a moment here, and it's just really complex. And I think that, whereas it seems like the Academy didn't love this movie that much, they do like him in it. And so
Yes.
I think he's got a decent enough chance at this. And it's also another one of those things of like, he's extremely well liked in the industry. He's got a ton of roles that he hasn't won for. And he's just so damn reliable. He's one of the most reliable actors out there. If you put him in a role, he is going to knock it out of the park.
I agree. One of my favorite movies in general. There's only 2 trilogies that rival like Lord of the Rings, and it's Star Wars and then the Before trilogy. I love that trilogy so much because really it's behind the 2 leads, Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke, and they're just so complex and so wonderful. Ethan Hawke's so charming in that. Julie Delpy's like an angel. Like the 2 of them in that movie are phenomenal. Ethan Hawke always has a very special place in my heart. I think he is a really great actor. Like I said, I think that there's a half a dozen more performances under his belt that I hope we'll get to see that he will get nominated for here.
That is the thing, right? He is so reliable that
Yeah.
you know he will be back up here.
This is a
One way
great
or the
one
other.
to be recognized for, but like we even have, I know it wasn't loved, but like First Reformed came out in 2017. Great movie, really good performance by Ethan Hawke in that.
Phenomenal. He's really, really, it's one of those movies that like, I don't know that I'll ever watch it again, but like it's undoubtedly a solidly written and performed movie.
Unbelievable. I mean, like he's got such like Juliet Naked is another one that came out. It's like a romantic comedy that happened in like 2018. It's based on the Nick Hornsby novel. He's great in that. It's like classic Ethan Hawke, but also just very like kind of charming in an older Ethan Hawke sort of way. So we could go through like his whole like filmography and just say like, how is he not nominated here? And that's the point. Like I think he'll be nominated again. Boyhood is another one. Wagner Moura, like I said, has an outside shot. I don't know if DiCaprio is going to win because he already has one. I do think that this performance is going to age really, really, really well. Yeah.
I'm so happy to see Wagner Moura here, and I don't think he's going to win, but I think this lends a certain amount of credibility to him as an actor, where I guarantee we see him again, and we've been seeing him in more and more things, and I think he's going to be one of those actors that we're just going to keep seeing more and more. I'm so glad to see him here, and his performance is undoubtedly great. So let's talk about Timothée Chalamet for a moment here, then, before we close out this category. I was kind of saying it before. I think that part of the reason Marty Supreme was so successful, it like tripled its budget or something at the box office. Yeah. And part of that reason is his choice to be the entire marketing campaign. He's out there campaigning and campaigning and campaigning for this movie. And I think to a certain point that's turned off Oscars voters. I don't think they liked all of that in-your-faceness. But I don't think this movie triples its budget without that, right?
100%, yes.
So it's kind of like the catch-22 of the situation, and I think that's okay. I think he would rather have the box office win at this point in his career to show that he can lead a movie and make a profit from it at the same time. Like, and that's a win, right? We're not going to stop seeing Timothée Chalamet anytime soon. We're getting Dune 3 in not too long, and he's hyping that one up to no end. And so I think he's taking the Leonardo DiCaprio path here, where we'll be having the same conversations we saw around Leonardo DiCaprio, where he starts getting nominated every time, and everybody's like, "When's he gonna win? When's he gonna win?" And I think that the Academy knows that. They're like, yeah, we're gonna see so much of this guy. He is going to be the next movie star, so he doesn't need to win right here. I think that's the story.
I think so too. I think right here you're seeing two generations of like the A-list actor. Like who's the first call actor? It's Leonardo DiCaprio, and now it's the baton, I think, is not being passed here, but eventually to Timothée Chalamet. I think Timothée Chalamet is great. He's a great actor. I think Call Me By Your Name is still one of my favorite performances by him, even though he played opposite like a cannibal. But I really think he's like a phenomenal actor. I think the only reason that this is here is because of the campaigning. I agree with everything that you said. I also think that there is a little bit of his campaigning has backfired a little bit with his comments about operas and ballets being dated. Like, it's just kind of
if I have to see Variety and Deadline or anybody post about those again, like it is I don't want to it is crazy how much that's getting blown out of proportion right now by every single publication. I don't think that's doing him any favors with the voters. Luckily, most of that stuff happened after voting was already closed.
Exactly.
But I think the overexposure was well already established before the opera and ballet comments, which I watched that interview. I watched the whole thing with him and Matthew McConaughey, and I had no issues with it at the time of watching it. Like, when you watch it's basically a podcast episode. And so, you're not really supposed to hang on people's every word during those things, because it's not like I've already said things that I'll probably edit out of this episode. But you're not really supposed to hang on those things, because people don't mean anything by it, because they're just talking, And so I think that to do all these think pieces on it and for everybody to put their opinions on it, it's like, come on, guys, chill out. It's like, he could have worded that better.
Like, here.
I don't need to know what Steven Spielberg or Doja Cat thinks about what Timothée Chalamet said about ballet while he was on a podcast with Matthew McConaughey. Like, I don't need, come on.
Give it a break, guys. Yeah, I agree with you. It will be nice. I hope that this is not the last nomination for Wagner Moura. I would love to see more.
No, I can't imagine it will be. I think he's going to keep getting more and more parts, because he's undoubtedly a very good actor. All you have to do is see him in this, see him in Narcos, and see him. When I pointed out to Sarah that he's the same guy that played Pablo Escobar in Narcos, she was blown away. And then him in Civil War. Have you seen Civil War?
Yes, I've seen Civil War. He's in Civil War?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
He's the other photographer that's traveling around with them.
That's crazy.
Like, it's him, Kirsten Dunst, and Kaylee Spaney.
That's right. Okay, so let's talk about what I think are the two biggest snubs in all of the Academy Awards in this category, which is Jesse Plemons and Paul Mescal. I do not know how... I get Timothée Chalamet needs to be here. And I get Leonardo DiCaprio needs to be here, and Michael B. Jordan needs to be here. It's a crowded category. Would you have put Jesse Plemons or Paul Mescal over anybody in this category?
Oh, man, that's so tough, isn't it? I think I'd probably put Jesse Plemons over Wagner Moura, despite everything I just said about him.
Yeah, I think I would too.
I don't know why we only have 5 people here.
I don't know either. Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know who I would switch out for Paul Mescal. I don't.
Yeah, but I would imagine he should be here. All of them are deserving, and I think Jesse Plemons and Paul Mescal should be on this list too, because they had great performances this year. So yeah, it's just surprising to me.
Yep.
And now the finale.
The main event. Best Picture. So we got The Secret Agent, we got Begonia, we got Marty Supreme, we got Train Dreams, we got F1, Sinners, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, Sentimental Value. Let's get out of here the ones that we don't think are going to win. F1 is not going to win.
Absolutely not, no.
Begonia is not going to win. And I don't think Frankenstein is going to win.
I don't think so. I am shocked and appalled and will die on my grave that Weapons is not nominated in this category. Should be up here. It's deserving.
I wouldn't be mad if that was up here over F1.
Me too. It should be over that.
Surprising one. Everybody's surprised that F1 is up here.
I am too. Or did like Apple pay for this to be on here? Like,
That's possible.
Knows? I'm not sure, but it's surprising. I do think that Weapons deserves it. I do think Weapons deserves it, and I'm surprised. I loved Train Dreams. I am very surprised that it's nominated for Best Picture here.
I watched Train Dreams because of you.
Yeah, I liked it.
Because you had brought up how much you liked it, and I was like, oh, I need to watch that. And it is very good. A lot of surprising things happen.
Yeah.
But F1's here, so.
Yeah. I mean, and that's another person who I'm surprised didn't get nominated. Like Felicity Jones did a great job in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised. Like Felicity Jones, Joel Edgerton, who also, if we're going to nominate people, could have been up there as well. William H. Macy. It's a great movie, Train Dreams. I just don't feel like it had enough to say to be in the Best Picture category, in my opinion. I think the three to watch here are probably One Battle After Another, Hamnet, and Sinners. I think that those are probably the three that I would pick in this situation. I think One Battle After Another is like the critical darling, Sinners is like the box office darling, and Hamnet is like the Steven Spielberg kind of push for...
Yeah, I was so surprised when I saw that win. That won an award, and I saw him go on the stage, and I was like, no shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think those are the three. I think the way in which the Best Picture voting happens is like a weird thing. And so if there's nobody who gets a majority, the next film comes and they remove the lowest film and allocate those votes. So I think there's a real shot that Sinners could win this. I think there's a real shot that Hamnet could win this. But my vote probably goes to One Battle After Another here. I think that will probably win for Best Picture, in my opinion.
Well, it's interesting, too, because at the Golden Globes, if we are basing anything on what happened there, they split it into Best Picture Drama and then Best Box Office Achievement.
I think One Battle After Another will probably go down as like a classic in film. It's going to be one of those like... I feel kind of weird even saying this, but it's going to be like one of those movies that people look back on and like, of course, like One Battle After Another. It's going to be a No Country for Old Men or a There Will Be Blood or like a movie like that where you're like, oh, of course that this is one of those big movies. It's like a modern cinema classic. I do think that Sinners is going to win like the cult vote. It's going to continue to like gain popularity in different circles. I really love that Ryan Coogler retains the rights to this franchise. I think that is so fantastic, and I really hope that there's not a place where the studio just kind of cannibalizes this like unique world and unique storytelling, and Ryan Coogler can like keep it in his own voice and in his own way. So I do think both of these movies, One Battle After Another and Sinners, are going to continue to have traction in like modern discourse for years to come. I don't know if Hamnet is going to, but I think those two movies will.
Yeah, I agree. I think One Battle is going to be one of those movies that just lives on. It has that feel to it, you know, like how people talk about, you know, Bullet and the Godfather movies and The Conversation And,
Yep.
the conversation reminded me a lot of The Secret Agent, too, actually, now that I'm thinking of it. Man, I swear, The Secret Agent, it does deserve to be up here in this conversation. I think that's going to be one that really builds up a following with it, too, over time.
Yeah.
I think its major barrier to entry right now is the fact that it's got subtitles, and that's why Sarah didn't want to watch it initially. She's like, I don't have it in me to watch subtitles tonight. I was like, I was like, all right, but we're definitely watching it tomorrow, and we did. So,
I mean, I would say Secret Agent deserves it more than Frankenstein or
oh,
F1,
100%.
even Begonia and Train Dreams. I liked Begonia. I loved Train Dreams.
I like Begonia more than Weapons, but I do think that Weapons probably deserves to be up there more than it.
I agree.
I'm surprised at the amount of love Frankenstein is getting. I really am. And I think it's
Me too.
if Guillermo del Toro hadn't won some Oscars before this, would Frankenstein be up here? If this was his first movie, would it be up here? I don't think it would.
No, absolutely not. No. Also, I think it's the Netflix darling, right? Like, there's got to be a Netflix movie up here. That's it. There's an Apple movie with F1. So I think, as cynical as that sounds, I think that's part of it.
Do you think they paid for him?
I have to. You have to. I would imagine. I feel bad even saying it, but I would imagine. I do think Sentimental Value is an excellent movie. It's Best Picture worthy. I'm sad that it probably won't win it, but I'm really glad more people will watch it. I will say I paid for Sentimental Value, whereas a lot of these others are on streaming, and I did not regret it. I went to the movies to see him.
I paid to rent it.
Yeah, I loved it.
I paid for Marty Supreme. I own Marty Supreme now.
Yeah,
it wasn't available anywhere, and it was $20 to rent it or $25 to buy it, and I was like, screw it, I'll just buy it. And so I own that now. You know what else I own?
Yeah, that's your pick, I would imagine, right?
So this is my pick. I think 100% Sinners should win it. I'm not going to be mad if One Battle After Another wins it. So that's the 4K Steelbook of Sinners. I also have the 4K Steelbook of One Battle After Another, hopefully on the way. I ordered it from Grove, and they've still, to this day, I ordered it months ago, they've still not given me a release date on it. A lot of people think they're going to do the release date after the the Oscars, so that it can put on it nominated for this many, won this and this, on the artwork if they want, or something like that. But or maybe after the Oscars they'll do one more print run of pre-orders or something for it, and then put the final order in, because it literally just has said to be determined when it releases for months now. But I do own that, and that's why I haven't watched it a second time. but I will not be mad whatsoever. I think that's my takeaway from all of this, is that One Battle After Another and Sinners are the two head-to-head things. I love both movies. I'm not going to be mad if one wins over the other in really any of these categories, but if it's my preference, I'm going for Sinners. Because I really do think it's one of those movies that's going to live on, and it keeps going back to the theater. It keeps re-releasing, and I think it's just going to be, and people are going out to see it. And One Battle After Another did that too, where people are going out to see it, and they're looking for these theaters that show their movies on film projectors, and that's, I think, is such a special thing. So a world where we got both of these movies in the same year, where it's unfortunate they have to fight against each other, but it's just so fortunate for us as an audience that we got these in the same year, and we're eating well right now. So I love it.
I would agree. I'm happy that it's coming down to these two films, which have, I mean, despite their completely different subject matters, have very similar things to say about politics, about society, about the world in general. They have very similar outcomes to it, and I'm glad that those two movies are being elevated into that conversation. I also think that Of all the movies that I saw this year, I've had the most conversations about these two movies, right?
Yeah.
Talking with people, it's these two movies that come up the most. And that is refreshing to me that the Academy Awards are acknowledging that too. Like, these are the movies that are in popular discourse. Let's also put them in discourse here too. And like I said, I talk a lot about Weapons. I loved Weapons. I do think that it's probably the third best film I saw this year behind these two. So,
yeah, I think that One Battle After Another and Sinners, they're deep, they're layered, and they're not overrated, despite what the comments on the internet might say. And I think that's their benefit, is that they are very layered. And Ryan Coogler said about Sinners, he's like, I designed this movie so that if you go into it and you just want to be entertained, it's designed so that you're going to be entertained. He's like, but if you want a very layered movie where you're looking for the history, you're looking for the symbolism, you're looking for all of these things that are layered on top of each other, he's like, I built all of that into it as well. So you can, choose your own adventure, and you're going to have a great time with this. And that's what I think is one of the main powers of that movie, is that you can go in and turn your brain off and be super entertained. You can go in and turn your brain on and write a thesis on it, and make theory videos or write think pieces on it. It's really designed in a way where you can get involved with it if you want to. You can dig through the history books and figure out what all the history of the Mississippi Delta was, and why does this Chinese family own a store on this side of the street and a store on that side of the street. All this stuff has a reason, and there's a history to each thing in it, and I think that's a huge strength. And so I don't think anybody that says that Sinners is overrated, I think they're completely wrong. I think it's rated just perfectly.
Yeah, I agree. I hate when the discourse comes like, you either like this or that. Like, One Battle After Another wears its politics on its sleeve all the time. And that movie is kind of not dogmatic in its approach, but it is very apparent on what it is saying to you. And Sinners is also pretty apparent, but it has a lot more to say, like you were saying, below those layers. One Battle After Another does too, but it is a never-ending political bombardment, I think, that movie. Whereas Sinners, like you said, you could go into it, turn off your brain, just have fun. I don't think you can do that with One Battle After Another. I don't know if it's possible to turn off your brain in that movie. There's a very clear message that's being talked about in that entire movie, and I'm surprised it hasn't turned off more people, to be
I was too,
honest.
actually.
Yeah. I mean, and there is deliberate points where, the Christmas gang, I can't even remember.
I was just thinking about that.
Like, when that comes in, that's a clear moment where, like, the audience is slapped in the face. If you're just enjoying the show, that moment comes in and you're slapped in the face and the politics are back. And Sinners has that too, but it's very subtle and it's very nuanced. And I think both of those movies, like I said, have very similar things to say, but I think they're going to live on in discourse, and I'm really glad that it's coming down to that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
Well, that's all we got. So is there anything else you wanted to add on the Oscars conversation?
Watch Hamnet win Best Picture. That would be the big surprise, I think, if Hamnet
Frankenstein.
That. Yeah, exactly.
So,
yep.
After all of that, do you think Marty Supreme walks away with any award?
Don't. I did not like Marty Supreme. I felt like it was a pretty hollow movie. I went in with high expectations, and I was entertained. It was fine. I just, I've seen other movies this year where I was much more impacted. Timothée Chalamet is a great actor. He's really good. We've known that forever. I think this movie is just another feather in his bonnet. So
yeah, it was his first leading role in a original film.
Yeah.
and he did very well in it. Sarah even remarked while we were watching it, she's like, wow, he's really improved his acting. And I think she was referring specifically to her, like the last time she saw him, I think was in Dune 2, which he's good in Dune 2, but like, you know, I don't think he even got nominated for that, right? Like that's not an award role.
No, yeah, exactly. I do think that like there is a chance where the third Dune movie comes out and it gets a nomination like the Lord of the Rings does, where it's just like an acknowledgement of how impactful and big those movies are. We'll see if that happens, but I'm hopeful.
It really depends on what he does with it. I think that it's got a lot of potential, and the way Timothée Chalamet was hyping it up in that McConaughey interview, it sounds like it's taken some big swings. So I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for it. So
trailer next week, I think. So yeah,
I would hope so.
React to it.
Sounds good. All right, everybody. Thank you for catching another episode of the Bark Knight Podcast. Please follow, subscribe, and leave a rating to help keep the reels turning. And visit barknightmedia.com to find the latest episodes, blog articles, and to sign up for our newsletter. Until next time, keep celebrating great stories on and off the screen.